Hello, mechanics. Good afternoon. It's Owen Aeon, your sparkly racing cat. Today, my PNG tuber broke, as usual. Hold on one second. Oh, man, I wish Godot would just not be garbage. Hold on. I can't wait till I get my full model and I don't have to deal with this crap anymore. I'm so ready for... Yeah, there we go. I'm so ready for VTube Studio. Also, hello. All right, we're back on track here. Let me turn the audio down here. This is really loud for me. All right, we're playing a new game that I picked up in the Steam sale. This is called Roadwarden. I've never heard of this game before. I think it popped up in... I've been following a few like indie games people on Blue Sky, and they sometimes drop like random game recommendations like out of the blue, and this is one of them. And somebody said, oh, it's like $5 on Steam, you need to get this. And I was like, okay. I like the art style, the pixel art style. It reminds me of like, you know, the LucasArts games from the 90s. It's very like grim fantasy. I've heard people relate it to The Witcher, and I really like The Witcher, so I think this is my vibe. From what I know, this is leans more toward the visual novel type of game, so it's going to be a lot of reading. So I don't know if it's a good stream game, but it's just something that I'm interested in and I'm willing to give a shot. If it turns out that it's not a good stream game, I'll probably finish it offline, but I've heard it's relatively short. Like, you can get through a playthrough in 10 hours. If you do like absolutely everything, it's like 30 to 40, which like typically if I was playing it by myself, I would do absolutely everything, but we're just going to play it by ear here and see what works for us. Apparently there's like a lot of choices in this game, like branching paths and dialogue, so I'm looking forward to that. It's got like a 4.9 score on like Steam and other sources. Hold on, let me tweak my model here. Not flapping my lips enough. There we go. All right, let's give it a shot. New game. Everyone knows how to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Roadwardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and, if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. Oh, we have our first choice. I leave the safety of the city walls, or I still have my doubts. I mean, is it like game over if we have doubts? I mean, I don't know what kind of... Well, typically in these games, I play like a version of myself role-playing in this world. So I feel like I would still have my doubts, so... Oh, okay, it's just like, no, you can't play. It's like, do you want to play? Yes or no? Okay. Got it. I leave the safety of the city walls. Pick difficulty mode. The choice can't be altered later on. Casual for those focused on the story, no time limit, more cash at the start. Some quests are more forgiving. Standard for those similar with RPGs. 40-day time limit, regular rule set, or restrictive. Let's do standard. Or they have advanced options too. Oh, okay. Oh, this is cool. I don't know what any of it means though, so... Oop. We're gonna do... Oh wait, switch to preset. One of those, do you want to play this game questions? I know. Hello, Vithite. Hello. JRPG? Ah, it's not JRPG. It's a Western RPG. But I have seen those questions in JRPGs before, yeah. Oregon Trail-esque, what job do you want to be? Yeah, exactly. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood, good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You were supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk nor trolls, and the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. What is a palfrey? Is that a horse? Is that a type of horse? There's a lot of fancy stuff like I don't know the names of, so if anyone wants to step in and elaborate on the vocabulary, I would appreciate it. I could just look for another shelter. I need to look around cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. Palfrey, a docile horse used for ordinary riding, especially by women. Oh, okay. Got it. So it's not like a war horse. It's not like a beast of burden. It's simply just a horse for traveling on. I get it. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around. Should be. You're supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices. Okay. It's a Honda Accord. It's the Honda Accord of horses. That's an amazing comparison. See, I love that. The Honda Accord. Traveler, I offer you an Accord. I love that fan. That's the first Elden Ring fan art I saw, is when the girl offers you an Accord and she's like standing next to a Honda Accord. All right. I need to look around cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. I think that would be the wisest course here. Your heavy boots hit the ground and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. Approach the gate slowly. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. Okay. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. 2 people are sitting at a table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a lighthearted drinking song from the city harbor. They don't look like much of a threat I can enter. Yeah. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes. His beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. One second. The music's still like too loud for me. We need calmness. We need calmness. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. Oh, that's too quiet. Sorry, I'm really picky about my sounds. All right, I think that's good. I take a look at the second soul. Just like you, she's wearing a gambeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these two surely looked the part, though there should be more of them. 8, you believe. I let them speak first. It's nice to see an unharmed traveler in this godforsaken shithole. Makes me just a tiny bit hopeful. The bearded man's voice is strong, yet timid. You'll be staying the night with us, I guess. We're soldiers, he and I, adds the armored woman. Her voice switches from half asleep to relaxed. We'll do our best to keep the camp safe, but if you were to take the first watch, it would be a huge help. Travelers ought to help each other, wouldn't you say? You think for a moment. To fully rest, you'd need a good sleep. Yeah, let's take the first watch. Fantastic. She rubs her hands together. I don't remember the last time I had more than half a night of sleep. The hours before midnight should be the calmest. Just wake us up if anything happens. The man flashes you a wide smile. It's easy to wake us up. Just yell. He drinks from his mug. I ask them about their lieutenant. You wonder how to phrase your question. Oh, whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. Oh, shit. Friendly, playful, distanced, intimidating, vulnerable. So, like, I guess this is a way you could find out if, like, these folks are hiding something, possibly. It's interesting. Hang on. Just want to look at my sound settings really quick. Seems like my interface has been working overtime lately for some reason. I'm really close to like topping out most of the time. Just bring up my interface settings. Might lower the output volume just a little bit. Perfect. That should be good. All right. So, like, if I make myself vulnerable, they might reveal something more than what they're letting on. Though they don't seem threatening. Like, I have no reason to, like, doubt them right now. Maybe I'll just be friendly to start. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? The woman lets out a loud sigh, dusts off her gambeson, and steps toward you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. We most definitely can, you and I. Though holding this rank is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you with curiosity. Or are you looking for help? Oh, this is the lieutenant. Okay. I'm your new Roadwarden. My horse is waiting outside. Really? The soldier in the shirt leans forward. That explains how you got here in one piece, all by yourself. Better bring your beast here, adds the lieutenant. We have no hay, but I bet it dreams of dropping its saddle. A long pause. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out her hand. It may be a trap. I gesture for her to stop pretending to be embarrassed. I should wash myself first, but you can call me. I mean, this could be a situation where these two, like, wiped out the camp. And, you know, and they're, like, you know, just kind of going along with what you're saying to lure you in. Oh, man. It may be a trap. I gesture for her to stop pretending to be embarrassed. I should wash myself first, but you can call me. I have doubts now. I have doubts now. How do you want people to call you? Oh, Lido. That's a good name. But we're going to go with Owen. Or Owen? Do you want to do Owen? We could do Owen. I think that would be fun because we're playing a fantasy game. Why don't we do that? When we do fantasy games, let's be Owen. The lieutenant stands with her hand out, but then raises her arms with an awkward smile. Of course, of course. Just keep your horse away from the tents. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. We should also prepare for the night. The soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. We've no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something. That's fine. You walk through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than... Oh, wait. Not many humans could ride a horse? What? It's not only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You can get in the saddle with a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquest in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. That's interesting that this game is like, yeah, horses are not common. Like, horses are not something people ride often. That's really interesting. Ooh, lore! Lore! It's my only companion here. I want to feel at ease. I don't care how it feels, but I need to be strong if I want to travel, and I can't afford another one. Lore! Yeah. It's my only companion here. I wanted to feel at ease. It takes a few steps towards you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals and even pets as monsters in disguise. Oh. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. Dude, this... Oh my god, this lore. This is amazing. This is great. But you know that horses need companionship. I speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Holy shit, the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Worst of all, you have no rope left, but maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions essential for your trade. Ah, here we go. We get to pick our class. Fighter. I spent my savings on decent combat equipment. I have a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels. Mage. I have talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson. Excuse me. Scholar, I carry writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a small healing potion. Let's go with the fighter for now and see where it leads us. Maybe we'll do like a mage character if we have to play again. If we die! You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still here, just in case. You take a... Open your inventory to see your business. You take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, your tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife. Nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. So what do we have in our inventory? Unless you're occupied with another task, you can eat food, drink potions, and use your items from this menu. Be sure to click on each new item you receive, as some of them can have unusual applications. So we have food rations. Consists of dried meat, crackers, nuts, seeds, fruits, and water, which spoil slowly and don't require additional cooking. We have a pouch with coins. The city artisans make coins by cutting dragon bones into slices. They are valued by merchants, though rarely used in the countryside. We have a gambeson, a padded defensive jacket made of linen filled with rags. It's the cheapest type of armor, yet surprisingly effective, and as a result, very common. If you haven't watched any videos on gambesons, there's a few good ones on YouTube about how, you know, as light armor, they're actually really effective because all that fabric and weaving can dull blades as they penetrate. So having some kind of padding was also very fashionable in different eras as well. So kind of neat. The travel set. Your set contains all sorts of useful tools. For weapons, we have a well-crafted battle axe. Traveling with an axe shows that you've learned how to fight humans and human-sized monsters, while having a weapon made of steel makes it clear you're someone to be reckoned with. A crossbow, which is difficult to make and valued for their usefulness. Crossbows can be used even by an inexperienced traveler and can pierce most scales and armors. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. Right? Return to the soldier. Oh, taking hits will damage your armor. You can then fix it in various settlements. Okay. Oh, we're at 3 out of 4 right now. It will stop even a life-threatening strike. With your current gambeson, it's the best protection you can get. They're at the table again, observing your beast and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You can sit down on a tree log. All right, so we can join them and look at the meal. I thank them for the meal, but I don't want to eat with them. I sit down and ask Tulia what she can tell me about this area. Or I completely ignore the meal. I sit down and speak to Tulia. I mean, I think we want to eat. I don't think they're trying to poison me. It's cold gruel, the meal eaten in times of hardship. This specific bowl is filled with water, hog millet, and some strange-looking cereals and blueberries. Welcoming you with a meal, even a humble one, is beyond their duty. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Roadwardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help the settlements stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships, and when there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. I eat quickly, not focusing on the taste, then speak with Tulia. Oh, keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting. You can find your supplies in the inventory. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to, and less than I should. She nods toward the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead, 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, adds her companion. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward, his legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not that much. No soul governs these lands. I share what I consider to be relevant, or what I've discussed with the officials should stay between me and them. I feel bad for these guys. Like, they're clearly, like, they've gotten fucked up out here, and they look like they're at the end of their rope. I don't think they're bad guys. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received. Since this area is too far away from Hovlaven to keep it under control, you were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits, or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance. The lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. It's like me. I'm never comfortable in my seat. Where should we start? Oh, goodness. Many dialogue trees. Okay. Before I continue my journey, I need to ask them about the peninsula, the Roadwarden, and the rope. Tulia, how did you become a lieutenant? Or what happened to your squad? The man shrugs. Bandits happened, and monsters. A strong band, though, his companion chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would all have died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretended to be soldiers. Stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away, who knows where. They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate. It's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road. Saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well. Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were too young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a treant. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt, so a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act tough, didn't tell us that he had cut his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She lets out a ghostly cackle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. You've made this place safer? I stay silent. I like to be encouraging. I mean, they did good with what they had, and they're toughing it out. Barely. Tulia seems tired. And who knows if it was worth the lives and effort. What was your squad's mission? The lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual. Making the roads safe. Keeping people alive. I explained that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. You sense no hesitation. Do you have any other questions? Interesting. Hiding something. I've lost my rope. Could you spare one? You're in luck. She heads toward one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down on her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. I take a closer look. Ooh. A regular rope made of hemp and fibers. I take it and offer some food in return. Or buy it? For 0? Okay, I just got it for free. Oh, I guess you have the option to offer them some food for it, or you could just take it. Well, I need that food, so let's just take things for free when we get them. Tulia nods. For now, you leave the rope on the table. She doesn't trust me enough to tell me about her squad's mission. Yep. Anything I should know about this camp? The story is brief. Some merchants built the camp to have an extra stop for mules and donkeys just between the inn and the southern villages. There's plenty of grass here and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned from time to time, serving as a shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here whenever you want, the man concludes their tale. Though don't expect to wake up without pain in your back. Tulia, how did you become a lieutenant? That's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hand, which is currently rolling a mug over the table. In the city, there's a strict order of, what should I call it? She exchanges looks with her companion, but he can't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Hovlavan chief selects commanders, those select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line. So you were his successor? Nah, not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shield. Really unpleasant. Oh god, that's grim. She pauses. And you were the third one in line, is that right? Jumping like that to save a man in the middle of an attack doesn't sound like a wise decision. They were in love! That was his lover! I'm not saying that shit. That's a dick-headed thing to say. And you were the third one in line. Basically, yeah, she says without enthusiasm. I didn't plan to become a leader, though. I'll get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow, anyway. That man, these poor bastards. They really got fucked. What should I know about the peninsula? I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I'd guess it would be 3-4 days. When you confirm, she continues. From here, you can reach the coast in about a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? You nod. The sea route allows Hovlavan officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools. But maintaining order on a wild coast such as this one is like filling the ocean depths with coins. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore and boats can't get much closer. She nods. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp, but when we travel to the roadside inn, Pelt of the North, they're happy to trade, and to play dice. Why not just stay at one of the settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, you know. We're here to guard this road. This camp is our post, and, well... He turns to Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Owen, but... Are you a devout soul? Ooh, interesting. So here's our options. Like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. I'm a part of the United Church. For many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of an order of truth. I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul are the main virtues of life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship. I have a strong connection to nature and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. There's no evidence of the right's existence, and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I'm not. These are all good choices. I like this independent one. I have a place in my fellowship. I'm from a small village. Oh, I see. She hesitantly looks away. I don't know much about the River of Faith, but I'm sure we're not that different. I'm a Unite myself, she says with a short sort of pride in her voice, so she follows the United Church. Maybe just explain what you were thinking of. I don't want to press her further. It's uncomfy. I don't want her to be uncomfy. The people here are disquieting. Every few words she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with officials. Here. She starts to draw lines with her index finger as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at its bog. Oh, at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an eremite, like yourself. They do crazy shit, her companion chirps in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. Ooh, I see. I see. You've heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages. The bringers of doom, the traitors to humankind. So there doesn't seem to be one like overarching religion here. There seem to be like very much many different religions at play, and everyone's kind of isolated and separated from each other, I guess, unless you're living in the cities. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? And how about the East? Any monster worth mentioning, anything that could catch my mount? That's all I need to know. This one seems the most important, any monster worth mentioning. We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, mouflon eaters, griffins. But we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Julia glances at her companion. Though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast in the mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting among themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. Were you able to speak with the necromancers? You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it, the lieutenant chuckles. Maybe we'll be more welcoming to a road warden. The roads are dangerous with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get an inn first, and soon. Tulia nods. Pelt to the north is a safe place. You can talk with the innkeeper or the guards and ask them about the road. And what about the east? She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. That's all I need to know. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. Any ideas what happened to the previous road warden? Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him in almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in the things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean his clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave at dawn. Unlike us, Asterion never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man carves with passion. We haven't seen him or his Saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer road wardens often use four-legged, meat-eating Saurians as their mounts. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message. Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also took a look at Asterion's stuff. Wait! She raises her open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids in a village near Havlaven. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions. Quite a treasure. She glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff. Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us. Tell us what you have learned about the man and we'll get back to Havlaven together. You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Havlaven in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all of his possessions. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows? You may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear, mostly. Maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long, red beard, short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left. Just let me know. She doesn't trust me enough to tell me about her squad's mission. Okay. If you were me, where would you go next? The soldier answers quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest from here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tulia. But the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen and knows many souls. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes. Stick to trade. Don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. I agree, Tulia sighs with relief. And may you do better than Asterion did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Thank you for your help. Oh, open the archive to reread the most recent text. It's like a visual novel. This is actually built in RenP, by the way. I just found that out. Like booting up the game. Kind of cool. Thank you for your help. You go to the barrel and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Yeah. I hate being grody. It's gross. Let me move my... There we go. Leave some room for the stuff on the right. Your horse is already napping. It's still too anxious to lay down. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. Oh my goodness. If you take a bath, then you will charm the shit out of them. See, this is why I take 9 baths a day mechanics. This is why you're Sparkly Racing Cat. Do you know why I'm sparkly? Because I take so many fucking showers. Because I'm clean all the time. I'm super clean. All right, so my appearance right now is 2 out of 5. You don't stand out from the crowd. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. We need a proper bath. We need a proper... That's our main quest in this game. Go get a proper bath. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, though they won't try to jump over the palisade. Probably. Better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. And there's this one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. He points at the gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if this someone is being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire, and the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something. The watchtower? He gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here. He points at the pile of crates, these here, up in the upper left corner. Just climb up to the tallest one. You'll have a great view of the northern side, the more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points at the tent on the other side of the camp. I can handle a couple hours of sleeping on the ground. If you wish, go there after me and rest just this once. At least I have a pallet inside. I smile, thanks a lot. I walk away. I'm fine, don't worry about me. Thanks a lot. You put your blanket on the tallest grate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshment. From time to time, your back aches, but you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. For most of the time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point, you see 3-horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash their antlers, a 2-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. The furry beasts try to intimidate the predators with roars and aggressive head movements. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight, nor to admit their defeat. Let's save. Let's get a quick save in there. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around. You hear the death screams of distant prey and the mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of musk oxen lazily chew the grass, preparing themselves to sleep. A dusk fox is running together with a lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there, watching the not-so-distant forest, trying to outlast your sleepiness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down and go to a tent, waking up the bearded man with just a couple of words. You confirm that nothing important has happened. I gather my things and squeeze into the tent. I use my bag as a pillow, put my blanket on the pallet, and cover myself with my cloak. Sleeping in a tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's a much-welcomed rest. The pallet keeps the cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. You listen to your own breath and find a comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. I focus on the real goal of my journey. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula. Learn about the territory, resources, and threats. I hear monsters in the background. I heard something there. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Havlavan officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers or be a threat to the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? At least I have time, 40 days to be exact. I need to be as thorough as I can. Okay, so you need to, like... Okay, so we're in the employ of the Merchant Guild, but I guess they're in league with the United Church, so they're looking to suppress, like, pagans, basically, and monsters and weird shit going on. So that makes sense. All right, I have 40 days. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Havlavan. There you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. Oh, look at this. We have, like, side goals. I need to gather some extra coins so I can save my sibling from debt collectors. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. If I gather enough connections among the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm, a hero. I just want to help people make this region safer for the locals and the newcomers alike. I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past and I want it to be forgotten. These are all pretty vague except for the first one. Well, the retire early is fine. That's pretty straightforward. But this one, I need to gather some coins so I can save my sibling from debt collectors. I like this one. This one's like an actual like real, you know, good kind of motive. So I'm going to do that. Your half-sleep senses are catching the sounds of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious, though the pleasant, humid late summer air evens it out slowly. You can't travel during the night. Press the sleep button to rest. You're thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength. All I can do now is rest. Okay. Sleeping in a tent. You can spend the night in a borrowed tent. It's nothing special, but it will protect you from the wind and the rain, and the ground won't be painfully hard nor cold. So is this like what we regain or what we're going to be at tomorrow? Oh, there was other options there. Shit. Oh, okay. Our nourishment is 1 and our appearance is 1. We're dirty. We're dirty Roadwarden. Catwarden. You're woken up by sunlight, well rested and ready. Without haste, you gather your things. Only after a couple of breaths, you notice a weird smell, like a roast. No burning meat. No, burning meat. Burning rotten meat. Disgust crawls into your consciousness. You exit the tent. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are where you had left them. You see an open gate. I go outside to see what's happening. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tulia is the first one to address you. Owen, she greets you with a nod. We use the horse's manure for the flame, so don't worry about cleaning it up. Ew. Oh, it's so gross. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or a female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead? The latter. A young one. She lacked the pneuma to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours and each moment it spends in the fogs. Burning the dead is not just a religious practice, it's a necessity. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, even road wardens. Making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls this undead a she. Most Unites hesitate to do so. Interesting. Maybe she's pretending to be part of the church. That's really interesting that, like, zombification of people is normal in this world, and the only way to avoid it is to burn the bodies. Time for me to leave. Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She walks with you for a few steps. Find us here if you need us, or if you learn what happened to Asterion. There's enough ground here for you to rest. Safe travels. These words make you stop. An old farewell, mocked in a number of songs and tales, but yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. You wonder how many acts of kindness like this one you're going to experience in the days to follow. She returns to the pyre. I prepare myself for the journey. You somehow miss the fact that your mount is already saddled and warmed up. You double-check the equipment, but you didn't need to fix anything. The soldiers were diligent. Normally, preparing any palfrey for a long journey takes a lot of time. Use the travel button to see the map and move to another area. You put on your gambeson and make sure that your axe is tightly attached to your belt, then get in the saddle. The palfrey nickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get to the crossroads, north from here. I need to ride north. Okay. Should we, like, eat something? Should we eat something? Oh, we have some stuff in here I didn't see before. A winged hourglass. A steel pendant hanging from a leather strap. It's common to wear such jewelry to demonstrate one's allegiance to the right. Oh, there's lore here. The winged hourglass was adapted by the largest religions of the 10 cities, the United Church, the Orders of Truth, and the majority of fellowships. It's used in temples and funeral rites, but also to decorate expensive codices or pieces of clothing. Not every soul who wears such a trinket in a visible place is a devoted believer, but it can be seen as a sign of solidarity with the more conservative section of the city culture. Emblems like this one are meant to portray the ephemerality of life and the rigidity of time. The traditional pendants are made of steel, signifying the strength of humankind's determination and innovation. Wright's tablets highlight the important role of iron when it came to fighting monsters and expanding the lands of the tribes. Other materials such as bone, gold, or even wood are also used, though various communities interpret such alterations in their own ways. The pendants made of steel are not so contentious. Interesting. All right, let's should we eat something? Food rations. I want to eat what these guys have, but well, anyway, let's just try traveling and see if I like die from starvation. Travel forward to continue your journey. Once you're done with the north, speak with Tulia to return to Havlaven. Okay. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find the pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the features of birds and furred beasts. Each one is of a different size, coat, and colors, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. They're like turkeys. And the griffins are like turkeys, basically. About 24 beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I consider my options. You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay close to the main road as possible and why adventurers move in groups. Usually, the safest approach would be to stay where you are and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take up to a couple of hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You've got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. Force. We could use force. If you have any vitality points, you can use the warrior's training to access unique interactions. The dice icon marks the actions that involve a random chance. Oh. I take my axe and hurry the horse. If we ride fast enough, we should be fine. I should stay here. Better safe than sorry. I grab my crossbow. Light hit should be enough to make them scatter. Why don't we go cautious? We're gonna be safe. Rather safe than sorry. While you're observing the griffins from a safe distance, you allow your horse to graze for a bit. Occasionally, you see other smaller animals, but you spend your time undisturbed. After about maybe 2 hours of waiting, two of the larger beasts engage in what looks to you like a savage combat, but results in merely knocking one of them on its side. The defeated griffin stands up completely unharmed, preening its feathers bashfully, while the champion walks away proudly, followed by the other members of its pack. They disappear among the trees. Okay. Apparently you have a character sheet. Owen, the Roadwarden. After years of training to become a fighter, to gather enough dragon bones to save my sibling from debt collectors. So we can use force, you can use advanced training. So our stats. Common experience, none. Spared animals, hardly any. Religion. Aramite. You pray to the right and follow the river of freedom. You're from a small village and you believe that the freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul are the main virtues of life. Your community is unique and independent, and so are its members. Faith is undetermined. Okay, so religion and faith are different. Lies. Lying gives you quick benefits, but may turn against you after some time. Some lies are difficult to pull off for an unexperienced liar. Interesting. Sewing. I love that sewing experience is its own category. How many points did you put into sewing mechanics on your adventure? How many points did you put into sewing versus gambling experience? Gambling experience is its own. Your practice with fixing your clothes and armor with the usage of proper tools and gambling helps you in luck-based games of dice. How many points did you put into gambling? None, Pink. No, none. 0. Also, hello, how are you? Nice to see you. The person with many names, Pink Puffball 81. I'm ready to move forward. Keep track of your achievements as your journey unfolds. Oh, I got it. The new adventure. Reach the first crossroads. Okay. My name is Owen. I used to be a fighter? No, I am a fighter. What? I am a fighter. Why did I used to be a fighter? The road splits. According to what the soldiers have told you, you may find a safe inn by turning left. The forest to the right is lush and the trail overgrown. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. Those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? The signpost in front of you doesn't make your situation much clearer. It was put here by someone who can't write, for folks who can't read. Covered in old red paint, it points east. Blood there, as people say. Danger to be found. There's not a soul to ask for guidance. I look at my horse. What's its name? Oh, Sodal? What about Soda? I don't think it's Soda. I like Sodal. Sodal is good. Let's look up like Welsh names for horses. Soda. What are some good like Welsh names? Ooh, popular Welsh horse names. I like these. Oh. I think you say this like Karis or Karish. Roadwarden. Heck yeah, I love this game. Hello, Evo. Yeah, I bought this game on a whim because I heard it was really good. And I love text adventures and kind of dark fantasy stuff like this. And the pixel art is beautiful. I really love the pixel art. It may be a lot of reading and talking, so I think this is for a certain type of crowd. It's not like my usual stream content. I find streaming visual novels to be kind of hit or miss depending on your audience, you know. Let's do Kara. So this is a Welsh name and it roughly means love. Karis is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose a path, but you spent many years together. Happy to go on, it takes a couple steps forward. You spot a few berry shrubs and wild cabbages, but they will need at least 2 weeks to gain maturity. Time to make a turn. All right, let's head west. We need a bath. Like I am so starved for a good bath. We need to get sparkly and clean again. So we're gonna go west. Karis trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten road. The bird songs and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. Also, let me know how the audio is, if you can hear the sound effects and the music, or if you need me to like turn it up. You spot boars, roe deer, and saurians. The sight of a nearby wolf pack worries you, but once you push your hips forward and your palfrey enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. The speed alone will protect you from many dangers. You notice the stone tower taller than the trees. It must be the inn I've heard about. That's so cool. I love the art. Inns like this one fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't expect a place of this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by expensive mercenaries, surely lived for many seasons in a primitive hamlet, subsisting on salted supplies. There are seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building was whitewashed only a few years back. The road is wide and beaten. Dozens of souls could hide, if not in the buildings, and then at least in the yard. The expenses and labor put into this fortress were worth many trading ships. 3 armed people are on the ramparts, though you only see what's above their waistline. They're leaning on the parapet right next to the gate, and you think you notice a glimpse of a smile. They wear gambesons. Each one of them dyed differently: yellow, green, and linen gray. We're going to have an ad coming in soon, so we're going to take a break during the ad because I don't want anyone who's not subbed to miss anything. I approach the gate. A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has long, curly, disorderly red hair pointing in every possible direction. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. Oh, here we go, ad break. All right, we'll be back in 3 minutes. So let's be right back, do a stretch, get some water. All right, see you soon. All right, we're back. A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has long, curly, disorderly red hair pointing in every possible direction. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. I hadn't seen a horse for years now. I just said that it's weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of the villages spread around Havlavin. But no jackass would wear a saddle, I'd say. She exchanges a few words with a male guard wearing green, giving you time to move closer. Well, this one here says there really are donkey saddles. Say, traveler, how hard is it to ride a horse? Playful, distanced, intimidating, or vulnerable? Let's do playful. She's kind of funny because she's yelling. From the parapet, of course, but, you know. I laugh. You wouldn't believe it. The lessons were a pain. You get off your horse and imitate the silly walk from the day that followed your first long journey. It's like the it's like the Ministry of Silly Walks from Monty Python. Followed you your first long journey when your whole shell was crying. You illustrate the pain as you move your hand from your back to hips, then thighs. In return, the guards tell you about that time when they had to carry their friend with bitten off legs for 3 days straight. Oh my god, through the heart of the woods. Meanwhile, the other guards open the gate. Holy shit, that's grim. I'm like being like funny, like haha, my legs hurt, I can't walk straight, and they're like, yeah, well, let's tell you about that time we dragged our buddy back after his legs got bitten off by a fucking monster. Crazy. You may be in a good mood. The woman in the yellow jacket smiles at you. But don't get so noisy when you talk to our boss. The man never smiles. He has the world's suffering sculpted on his face. She leads you under the roof under which your palfrey can rest, tethered with a cord to a wooden post near some old hay. Once you're ready, go inside. Speak with our old boss. Maybe you're hungry? I am hungry. The other guards take care of various chores. They peek at your mount every now and then as they're splitting firewood, cleaning their clothes, weeding the garden patches, and moving chairs. 2 of them are making a rope. You head toward the inn, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard. I open the door. Only some of the windows are open, revealing the dust dancing in the sunbeams. The air is a bit stuffy. A muscular man is sweeping the floor near the stairs, but after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall and heads behind the counter. You're lucky to show up. His voice is deep and soft, with a city-like accent. He observes you with keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. I've a keg of decent ale. Wormwood, bog myrtle, juniper berries, cat's foot. He fills a mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon. Today, maybe. And we don't drink here before the even. I hate to see the good stuff going to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes, and his hair is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy for manual labor. The elegant tunic wouldn't stand out in the city square. I stand at the counter. The planks let out a creak after every step you make, so you slow down a bit. You could swear that the innkeeper made little to no noise. Here you go. He pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, my pelt of the north doesn't belong to Havlavin. You can sleep on the floor if you wish so, but if you want a bed or a meal, you have to pay. We may have some leftovers from dinner, but I need to check. I don't know. I feel bad like being anything but friendly. Maybe he's friendly enough, so friendly. Well, what does friendly reveal? I guess we can see what they reveal, right? Thanks for the drink. I see you know how to make friends with the Roadwarden. Happy to help. As a Roadwarden, I'm more than capable of taking care of the entire cask if you need me to. I won't stay here for long. I introduce myself. I'm not here to pay compliments to piss in a mug. I'm a Roadwarden and I'm looking for answers. Thank you. I'm a Roadwarden, so I never refuse a free drink. That's scummy. I like the friendly one. He meets your eyes with a puzzled look, then grabs a wet cloth and starts to wipe down the shelves. From time to time, your conversation is interrupted by splashes of dirty water in a wooden bucket. Well, nothing is truly free. I have worked for a soul of the road, but I don't need a new mouth to babble. He speaks slowly yet audibly. I value my time, and you should value yours. I drink the ale, I ignore the ale, and tell the man I have a couple of questions. I mean, I want to ask him questions, but maybe he'd be happier with me if I just drank it and then asked some questions after that. The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as a chestnut. The lay in spring hits your nose, and the first sip is even too complex, too flowery. While the brewer has used fancy ingredients, the exotic licorice ruins the aftertaste. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with a worrying thought I have. Which is, there are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold, so I'm not afraid of an open strike, but they've gotten more active in the last 2 years. One day, they may steal our furs, and I've no doubt they're the reason why merchants come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hands together, camouflaging his paws. I want you to reach Howler's Dell, northwest from here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. Ask Tice, the mayor, about Glausha, that bloodthirsty wolf of a woman. I've heard rumors about a raid in the north. If Glausha is ready to break the truce with the locals, I'm willing to join forces with them to get rid of her band. He looks at a nearby dragon bone. Not too difficult, right? Just do it when you have a chance. A couple of days won't make much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins when you get back with the news. Fine. Let's push for 3. He observes you for a moment. 2, he growls. I could eat something. Do you have any leftovers? What do you have for sale? Do I have anything you'd like to buy? I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. What can you tell me about the peninsula? Let's, ask about Asterion. Are you now? He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him. I don't think I'm going to be of much help. He rests his elbow on the tabletop and grunts quietly to clear his throat. But I do want you to find him, so... When asked about his intentions, he measures his words. Asterion and I made a risky deal. Well, a very promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins, my half of the investment. He knocks on the table with a fist anxiously. If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news. Could it be that Asterion stole the coins and ran away? He looks at a window and starts to play with a shutter. I just think Asterion ain't the kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him, it wasn't much of a fortune, and I'd risk saying he had earned my trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a Roadwarden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of. He rubs the table with his thumb as if trying to clean an invisible stain. I've asked travelers. I've sent a couple of my pals to find him. No real news. I know he stayed in White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something for the people there. It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs, then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So, let me know once you find anything, and we may yet return to this whole investment thing. I'll think about it. I do want to go see what happened to Asterion. That sounds like our biggest lead on where to go. Do you have any leftovers? Yes, I feed them to our boar. I won't give them away for nothing. He tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes and returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending with a hook. Go through the gate and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some berries. Bring me a bucket full. You'll be done in half an hour or so. Your horse could use a nap anyway, and I'll prepare something to fill you. The hook is not made of metal or wood. It's a long, curved claw, almost black. I reach for the tools. Half an hour? That's quite a lot for berry picking. I won't do that. Do I look like someone who forages for berries? No, I want to eat. I want to eat. I want some berries, too. The tools are cold, not too heavy. You notice a pair of thick gloves at the bottom of the bucket. Ah, the berries are not a problem, the innkeeper smirks. Unlike the snakes. Better scare them away with a stick or move them with a hook. And protect your hands. The little ones won't eat you, but don't get bitten. I'm sure you know how to be patient. Fine, I'll go right away. You step outside. Karis is lazily looking around. You hear the clinking of tools coming from the armorer's workshop. Well, we should kind of look at everything first. Approach the guards. The woman in yellow armor is kneeling next to a brown, hairy boar, which is resting on its side. The beast is not as large as the dark ones from the forests. It responds to the touch of the human's hand and brush with grateful grunting and rapid twitches of a hind hoof. No matter how friendly it appears, it's still tethered to the well, and you have no doubts that its charge would leave Karis dead in a breath. When the woman notices you, she steps forward to the boar's disappointment. So, the new Roadwarden. She points at a window with her chin, forestalling the question. We don't need anything now, but when we travel with our furs, we can use some assistance. She may be around 30, but her warm voice and bright smile are camouflaging the touch of time on her unpowdered face. Like many red-haired people with freckles, her skin is unhealthily pale. Why is it unhealthily pale? It's just, she's just pale. She's just a nice pale color. The boar runs up to her, observing your boots and fruitlessly sniffing for food beneath the beaten ground. She pats it back, but maintains her focus. How about a game or two? We have a bit of time and can talk about this and that. Maybe you'll get a couple of coins. Or lose one. She winks. We could play dice or throw axes at a target. Axe throwing? Show me what you got! Your arrival, and especially the dragon bone you pull out, are cheerfully welcomed. The guards prepare a couple of wooden planks, which are leaned against the wall. There are also spectators, and you're told that the other hunters are either sleeping or have duty on the tower. Remember, no magic, says one of the players. His face is deadly serious. There's going to be 4 participants in 8 rounds. You aim at the target drawn with charcoal. The person whose axe lands the closest to the center of the circle gets a point. Axes that fail to stay in the plank don't count. The person who has the most points at the end of the last turn becomes the winner. I blend in with the group. You talk a lot, but also don't say much. You share casual jokes, memories, and views on luck and optimal strategies. Karis and Tulia's camp are also brought up, but when you ask about the roads or the other locals, their stories are vague. The drinks are here. It's a pour beer made from the leftovers after the regular brewing. It's cold, sweet, and doesn't reach your head, but you try to avoid the smell. Just don't spill anything. The boar may get sick, says the opponent with one arm. As a guest, you start with the first throw. Your axe flies well, hitting the very middle of the painted target and piercing the plank with a pleasant thud, which makes it really difficult for the other players to outperform you. A minute later, you've won the first round, but you can't expect to be that lucky every game. Oh, I don't want to use violence or a direct threat. All I can do is try my best. You finish with only 1 point. You cast a dragon bone at a massive woman who stops her winning chance only briefly, surrounded by the rhythmic clapping of her crew. You're approached by the guard in yellow armor and her wholehearted laughter. Damn it. Fucking lost. I did good. I was doing good. I got outplayed. The innkeep has asked me to forage for berries. She chuckles. Oh, don't worry about it. Usually we forage by ourselves, but he wouldn't ask you for a dragon for a meal. He gives small jobs to people all the time, just to see who agrees to do them. Wants to judge who's of use and who's too proud for their own good. If you've agreed, just be sure to get those berries today, and don't try to take his tools away. He hates thieves. Tell me about yourself. Oh, what was that? After a brief giggle, her voice gets cold and serious. Nah, Roadwarden. We use names and stories among friends. You ain't one. Don't make me tempt curses. So they believe in oneromancy, or maybe oneromancy exists. If you know somebody's name, you can put a curse on them or have power over them. Very cool. I have some questions about this place. Not much to tell, honestly. There are many beasts around, both wild game and dangerous monsters. We spend our time surrounded by these walls, leaving only to hunt, forage, or trade. That's an unusual tower. I'd expect it to be closer to the gate and shorter. Any interesting creatures living nearby? Your group seems to be quite attached to this boar. What do you usually hunt for? What can I find north of here? Have you heard anything about the necromancers? That's an unusual tower. Like in Havlaven? Fair, but it ain't here to protect the gate. The stronghold was built long before we moved in and not to fight off humans. The tower was meant to be used by those who observe the deep forest. We look out for fires, dragons, and any winged creatures that are looking to roost on the roof. Baldy, she nods toward a man who, indeed, is completely bald, has a great eye and sees well even in darkness. What about this boar? How could you not be? She crouches and raises the boar's head, but it steps away and squeals as if someone's murdering it. It came with us from the city, just in case. We had no clue how our first winter would go, so we needed some backup meat. And it works too. Cleans the dirt. She reaches out to the beast again, but it trots away. The woman straightens up with a pleased sigh. We haven't needed to eat it so far, but it's also funny. I learned in my home village that the farm boars are getting a bit smaller and more cuddly, kind of like ibexes. So it's not such a wild, dangerous beast, but we don't let it get close to the other animals or children. If I need to hear someone else saying the names out loud, because I never heard them before, so I'm never sure how they should sound. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just taking a guess based on, like, past knowledge of different names from different languages and things like that. So I'm just doing my best. I have no idea. It is interesting to compare notes, though. Yeah, for sure. What do you usually hunt for? Anything we can eat or sell. If there's a partridge, a squirrel, or a rat, we don't complain. But when we move as a group, we look for something larger. Deers and aurochs are delicious, but we don't always look for taste alone. There's value in bones, antlers, claws, tusks, things people use to make tools or sculptures. We use some of them to make tools and spears, and you can never have enough spears. She pauses and looks at a strand of her hair, then suddenly speaks up again. And we look for furs, of course. Have you heard anything about the necromancers? It's something new. Her voice lowers to a whisper. I've never been to White Marshes, but over the years we've seen people moving away from there, south. They told us that the place has changed too much. A priest died, I think, and the new one awakens the dead. Sorry, Roadwarden, that's all I know. If she's hiding something, she sounds convincing. What can I find north from here? I'm sorry, we don't really go to those regions. We stay close to home, only sometimes move south or west to Howler's Dell, but only to trade. They're fine with buying more than they need since they then take wares to the coast. She takes a long breath, twirling her hair and gathering her thoughts. You know what? I've never even seen a beach, and I've been living here for how many? More than 10 years now, she giggles. The only part of the sea I've seen was from Old Pagos, which is placed on a hill. I've never put a toe in salt water. She looks toward another huntress who confirms that her experience is the same. But Old Pagos is a good place. As long as you don't mock their order and act nice, they'll also be kind. Boss says they're too serious for him to stand them, but at least they don't bite without a reason. There's a lot of places here I'm trying to keep track of. I'm like having a hard time. This is like a note-taking game. Ha! Here? Everything lives here. She flips her hair. I swear, we saw a few dragons, a unicorn family, a battle between trolls and goblins, faced 2 beastmen, and a gargoyle, and a hunting queen shouts all the time. I could tell you all about them, but I won't. She winks and pats the boar on its head. You know, hunters have their secrets. Thanks. I'm looking for knowledge about wild creatures. Well, I told you our knowledge is valuable. I don't know. She looks at the boar, which seems to be obsessed with a clump of grass growing next to the wall. 15 dragons, no less. Is there any discount for friends? Well, depending on the friend. She gives you a radiant smile. Let's say 15. If it's too much for you, maybe ask me after you spend some time around. Show us what you're capable of. Or play dice with us when you have an hour to spare. These folks here? She starts to whisper and points with her thumb at the guards behind. They crave gossip. All right, I don't have enough. Let's go forage for berries. Click in the journal. There's a glossary and quest notes auto updates and you'll unlock a new info. Nice. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. Very handy. Ooh, bestiary. Cool. I'm gonna go forage for berries. The innkeeper knew what he was talking about. You put on the gloves and look through the bushes from a safe distance. It doesn't take long before you notice the first serpent lying on a rock somewhere in the thicket. The creatures are not that large, and even if some of them hiss at you or slither closer, the jabs of the hook keep them at a distance. You don't know much about these berries. They're round and reddish. You wouldn't trust such a color even if you were looking for food in the wilderness. The plants don't have thorns, but the leaves are harsh, so you make sure to thoroughly cover your skin with your clothes. You have to look through many bushes to fill the bucket, but the presence of insects and snakes doesn't allow you to relax. I gather the berries and go back to the inn. You've returned to the courtyard. 2 of the guards are participating in a friendly skirmish. Their wrestling is accompanied by a crowd. I guess I don't care about watching. We're just going to go inside. Only some of the windows are open, revealing the dust dancing in the sunbeams. The air's a bit stuffy. The innkeeper's sitting behind the counter, contemplating an empty mug. So, you again. Need anything? I put his fruits on the counter. Great. He peeks inside the bucket. I've got cabbage stew with a few goose chunks for you. I'd serve it even to merchants if there were any around. Excuse me. The meal is warm and filling. It's well seasoned and not overcooked. And like I said, I rarely have food to spare, but feel free to ask if you ever stop by. You may be lucky, and I've been cooking my whole life. Thanks. And how did that old hook of mine work out for you? I see you still have your hands. I give him the hook. I'm fine. I've lost it. I'd like to buy it from you. He takes the tools from you and nods. Need anything else? What can you tell me about the peninsula? What could anyone say? This place doesn't even have a name. Unless there's an old book in an archive that no soul knows about. You know what I call everything from here to the coast? The hunting ground. He glances at your eyes. But it's not us who hunt. Keep that in heart. But the beasts in all shapes and forms. His words gain confidence slowly, which is strengthened by his deep voice. I've lived in this inn for over 10 years now, and I've only seen a couple of roads, a couple of places. It's just... once you get here and you see how harsh it is to hit the road, you have only more reasons to stay at the warm stove behind a wall, even if it's suffocating. He looks towards the windows. I'm sure you've heard a lot already. That the people don't build hamlets anymore. There are no more ibexes from the south, and the traders stay only for a few days. All of our iron is used for cauldrons, not swords or tools. What will I find traveling west? Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Have you ever been to the northern coast? That's all I need. What will I find traveling west? Well, there are hills nearby. Then you'll find a village, maybe an hour away from there. It was destroyed by beasts almost a decade ago. Nothing to see there. The goblins live there now, so most people just travel around it. And they say it's haunted, but who knows? Who cares? He crosses his arms and starts to sway back and forth, gathering his thoughts. You'll get to a large tree on the edge of the swamp. For the locals, it's sacred. You're not used to hearing someone mentioning pagans as if there's nothing unusual about them. There's a small path south which leads to an old mine in the mountains. Nothing to find there. But keep riding north and you'll find Howler's Dell, set at a clean brook. Farmers live there, and mouflons and druids. They'll let you stay for a night, but they're not cheap. If anyone thinks my prices are bad, it means they ain't been to the Ape Ale Inn yet. He lets out a gentle smile. Sorry. I smile politely. I know only a bit about the next settlement, Old Pagos. The soil there ain't too fertile, so they work in their quarry and help other settlements build things in exchange for crops. The forests and hills ain't too harsh, but the Seekers have a small monastery nearby in the mountains. I don't care much about them. They keep to themselves and they don't pay well. The third village is unknown to me. White marshes set at the bogs. I've heard it smells like a griffin's lair. I've heard a lot of nasty rumors about the place, but I won't share them. I don't want to be a lie spreader. So, 3 villages really. Howlers, the one near the monastery, whatever it's called, and marshes. Don't let their beds and palisades fool you, though. Weird people live there. Don't tell them more than you need to. You wonder if it's something he would tell other travelers as well. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Pretty much. Don't leave the main road, I'd say. Not so far from here you'd find an old dolmen. A few of my people had to spend a night there, and monkeys stole food and gauds from their bags. It was their fault. One of them had fallen asleep in the middle of his watch, but you know. The eastern forests are wild, the roads are rough, almost no soul lives there. One day all these roads will be swallowed by the trees again. The furthest my team has ever gone was the home of the Enchantress. Just stay on track until you reach the crossroads right near an abandoned watchtower. From there, turn east. You'll recognize the place. It's a nice home in a lonely meadow surrounded by a wall. He looks toward the closed window, then at you again. Kind of like our walls, but simpler, without coating. She lives as a hermit, Eudocia. I don't even know how she survives there, but if you don't have decent coin, you won't find much there. So, back to the crossroads. If you turn left instead, you'll see a road. People stay away from it. It connects the tower and the monastery, a shortcut between the 2 sides of the peninsula. I was warned by the locals not to use it. It already belongs to the beasts. Have you been to the northern coast? I only know about another inn. It's far from here, maybe a day on foot, a bit less from the eastern side. His eyes once again focus on the floor. I've never been there, but I've heard it's a safe place, close to villages of fishers and hunters, though I don't know much about them. That's all I need. About Glaush's band. He freezes, observing your hands silently. He wants me to get the answer from the mayor of Hallersdale. I'm on it. Okay. I didn't expect to find an inn of this size. So you know a thing or two after all. His mocking tone is soon replaced by a gentle smile. It was built long before we arrived. It didn't work out well for the previous owners. Once the war ended, they left. Not enough travelers, bad trade. The villages stick to themselves. We, however, came prepared, and now we're prospering. When you ask him how they can afford all the supplies, he runs his fingers through his dark hair. I'm not against running an inn, but we don't rely on guests. We're the ones doing all the trading. My hunters are a clever bunch and stay safe in the forest. In exchange for furs, claw, and bones, we get what we need, and more, both from the south and the north. He moves to the window and peeks outside. We have a good life here. We spend a whole lot on armor, crossbows, lumber, spears, but in another 10, maybe 20 years, we'll have enough savings to move to Havlaven and not work for another day of our lives. We take risks, but smartly. The team is stronger than ever, and I have big plans for us. Oh, he's got like a whole band here of hunters. That's kind of cool. It's surprising to find a purple-skinned man so far in the north. Is there a good story behind the inn's name? Yeah, I'm curious about him. I ain't seen a soul looking like this since my ma died, he shrugs. It's not a fascinating tale. Let's just say I wasn't a part of the invasion. Yet I'm glad it freed all those who were chained by the cities and their corsairs. He looks at the wall. I'm Layson? Aeon? I can't tell if that's an L or an I. I think it's an I. Is there another L here? I. Okay, so it's Aeon? I'm just going to say Aeon. I'm Aeon, by the way, but I rarely hear the name. Is there a good story behind the inn's name? I mean, there's a story, but not a good one. He clears his throat. For years, I wanted to have an inn called Pelt, but in my city, it would be in bad taste. Taverns and inns named with a single word were cheap and had a nasty reputation. There was the Claw and Mugger, Basilisk, and Blissful, I think. The good places used at least 2 words. Empty Barrel, a rose and a helmet, Empress's Smile. Pighead was the exception. It was a real dive, he chuckles. In my soul, it's still just a pelt. Pelts are what we came here for, and what will make us reach our goals. Return to my other questions. Any rumors worth sharing? He crosses his arms. I don't like to talk about people who ain't nearby. Show me first that you're someone worth changing habit for. What do you have for sale? I can go and pick up a few things for you, some food for your travels to start with, apples, nuts, sausage. Not too many at once. We need to maintain our supplies. I've got an elk fur I don't need. Its buyer was caught by a pack of red wolves. Nice for a sleeping spot, just as nice for a wall. An almost untouched bowl of soup, priceless for a traveler. You can't tell if he's being sarcastic. Made of fine oak ash, strong, though you should have some better supplies before you start your own bathhouse. After you mention you'd like something more useful on these roads, he looks down. I don't have any blades or armor to spare, but if you pay well, you can take one of our crossbows and a bunch of quarrels. A yew-bow, wool cords, and the trigger needs just a little bit of oil. It's as good as you can get without soaking it in magic. Takes a bit of muscle to draw, but even a 16-year-old could handle it. I won't sell it cheap, but I'm ready to give a discount to an helpful ally. Let me take a look at what you have first. Okay. So he has a elk fur. Oh my god, it's expensive. Box of soap. An oak-based palm that burns skin on longer contact. I want some soap. I want to look sexy. I want to be a pretty kitty. So I'm going to buy the soap. Can we use that? Or does it have to be like bath time? Oh, we put it in the travel set. Okay. An oak ash soap, a box with thick balm that needs to be rubbed against the skin, then rinsed before it starts to burn. Made of ash, tallow, quicklime, water, and a few other ingredients. It lets you get rid of dirt and fat. In no time, it's almost odorless. Nice. We do like an odorless soap. All right, we're going to head to the armor. You walk past the well and find a small open shed, not unlike the stable, but with a humble set of tables, carving tools, hammers, sharpening stones, pincers, knives, and other tools. As long as something can be solved by brute force, this place will find a way to do so. There are 2 people sitting on a long bench. The first one is a male with maybe inch-long hair, a cleanly shaven face, a thin, long yellow tunic, bare legs, and sandals. He ignores your presence, sewing a gambeson with great concentration. The second person is a boy, maybe 15, who's wearing the crude outfit of a farmer. He glances at you, but soon returns to sharpening a long dagger. Greetings. The man raises his head, but it's the boy who speaks, focused on his task. He ain't talking. Tell him what it is that you need. The man smiles in confirmation, looks at the piece of garment in his hands, then looks around, shrugs, and returns to you with a raised eyebrow. Maybe not right now, but I maybe need your services. Could you patch my clothes if they were torn? I look at the youngster, learning the trade, I see. Kind of, he answers reluctantly, but his teacher pats his knee, giving him a harsh look. The kid clears his throat. Yes, but we both ain't masters, you see. There's not a soul to teach us, so once I'm ready, I'll try hunting instead. Fixing things for others is boring. The man grunts a sound, though you don't understand it. Seeing your face, the boy chuckles. He said, safe. Let's meet in the middle. Boring, but safe. The man nods. Could you patch my clothes if they were torn? He shakes his head and points at the uneven seams on his own tunic, then grabs a crude bone needle and shows you its broken head. He wouldn't even if he had the tool, says the boy, but you can try in Howler's Dell or Gale Rocks. Maybe not right now, but I may be in need of your services. He nods, points at the laces in the front of your jacket, raises his clenched fingers to his shoulders, then gently spreads and lowers them as if he's taking off a robe. You follow his command and allow him to properly inspect your gambeson. After a few minutes, he gives it back, then reaches for his pouch. He pulls out one dragon bone, shrugs, then another one, and waves both of them in the air, pursing his lips. He makes a few speech-like noises with his empty mouth, groaning what sounds like, I don't know. I consider his offer. Gambison repairs. Your jacket is as good as this armor can make it. My Gambison needs no repairs. Okay. I feel like this Gambison could use some adjustments. He ain't that experienced. We do this and that, but only the simple things. Okay. So they can, like, patch something together, but they can't make it, like, good. I get it. Let's go to the well. The recently renovated wooden roof covers the well from rain and birds. One of the guards is enjoying the cold drink he drew with a bucket and tells you to use only as much water as is necessary. The oak ash soap you own can get you cleaner. You need 3 pieces of bathing equipment to get more out of this place. Oh my gosh. I like that they refer to their bodies as shells. That's very interesting. I'm sure it's related to, like, how they're they can be zombified after they die. Like, they clearly treat, like, the spirit and the body as, like, 2 very different things. Or the pneuma. Because they've been talking about pneuma, whether that's, like, intelligence or spirit is, we're kind of still figuring that out. I wash my shell. Splashing yourself with cold water from a bucket won't take away your smell, but it's enough to remove the tallow and sweat from your skin or mud stains from your clothes. All right, not great, but better. I won't get any cleaner here. My clothes need no washing. All right, so what else can we do here? Is there anything else we can do in the inn? No. What about the guards? Have you ever been at the heart of the woods? We sometimes hunt south from there. There are good hunting grounds in the western half. The second one is too overgrown. Maybe the soil is different? She shrugs, then moves the hair away from her forehead. But it's a risky spot. There are treants there, and wolves, even the furless ones. And if you have to go through the tall grasses, watch out for what's on the ground. There aren't many archers in the trees. She smiles as if it's a joke. But there are all too many worms, even larger than a water leech. Leech! Yes, leech. I had it. We already played today. She doesn't trust me enough. I'm looking for knowledge about wild creatures. Yeah. She's, not... Well, she was offering it for 14 instead of 15. She was offering it for a little less. All right, the Discord notice is coming up too much now. I'm gonna delay that timer. We're gonna set that to like every 45 minutes now. Okay. I walk away. All right, it looks like there's nothing more for me to do here. I kind of want to head west because they said that Asterion, according to Yason, Asterion was meant to do something for the people of White Marshes and disappeared soon after that. He and the innkeep made some sort of deal. He doesn't think Asterion has stolen them. I want to head for White Keep, or White Marshes, rather. Let's travel. The road uphill meanders, slowing you down and forcing you to pay close attention, not only to the shadows of the trees, but also to the tight, rocky passages. You can't help but notice a few caves and find ambush spots. I keep an eye out for any sign of life. The ruined village. Standing in front of the gate, you hear no voices, no tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Their fluttering, singing, and squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. The broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. I'm curious about this ruined town. The palisade is in good shape, and the entrance wasn't even touched by the fire. It was torn away, possibly thrown. The amount of used force must have been huge, but you'd expect that it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. You don't see any marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such planks, but after so many years, you see no paw prints. A mage? You can't really tell. Approach the building near the field. The broken logs and planks are charred, while the wooden walls are rotten and covered in moss. You see no ashes or dust, proving that the fire happened long ago. The smell is awful, and there are no reasons to stay for long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was just a storage room. The valuable odds and ends were already taken by the scavengers. Okay, so there's likely not much here because it's, you know, this apparently happened a long time ago. I move forward. Where do you want to go? I explore the southwest part of the village. I inspect the fields to the southwest. I inspect the pasture to the southeast. I guess the village. The buildings, some of which have collapsed, are made of wood, now charred and rotten. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors and window frames. They could belong to a dragonling or a large wolf, larger than the gray ones, or a corpse eater. Too many options to make a guess, yet no beast remains in sight. You find the remains of clothes, furniture, odds and ends. Only one object seems to be of use, a basket-like fish trap made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can fit it onto my saddle. Okay, cool. We got a fish trap. Hell yeah. We'll catch some fucking fish. Where do you want to go? Let's keep moving through the village. I go to the main square. In every village, the main square is the fanciest area, meant to charm the travelers. Yet this is way more than you expected. The houses are as big as in Havlaven, and the paved ground took a lot of work and materials. The walls, now charred and riddled with holes, are made of an expensive coated wattle. The tiles for the roofs also had to be brought here from a different settlement. You peek inside the three smaller buildings, the rotting remains of their former splendor. The birds living in dozens of nests respond to your arrival with quite a commotion. You don't find even a single dragon bone, nor a tool or a piece of furniture left unbroken or unrotten. You're surrounded by bad smells, dirt, animal droppings, and garbage. The well also stinks. It has no bucket, but you'd be afraid to use it anyway. Who knows how many birds have relieved themselves inside, or how many old rats have found their death while climbing up the walls. Suddenly you hear some sounds coming from the largest building. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. I should check it out. I'm gonna walk away. Where do you want to go? I want to look around the northern gate. The paths here have almost been reclaimed by grasses. To your east and west, you see shadowy alleys behind damaged buildings. I approach the nearby tree. You don't find anything worth picking. The half-dead quinces have maggots crawling under their skins. You wonder which part of this meal is more tempting for the dark-winged birds sitting among the branches, the flesh of the fruits or of the worms. Quinces are rarely eaten without having a chance to blet. You can safely guess that they were meant to be dried or to add taste to cookies or hard drinks. After a few moments, you realize that the bottom of the tree, just above the ground, is partially charred. Someone must have opposed a torch here, but the wet wood didn't burst into flames. Take a look at the gate. Pushed or pulled, it doesn't move an inch. Someone has spread dirt and rocks both underneath and around it, seemingly to keep the plank stuck into the ground. Oh, so we can't... I want to open the gate. You should take a look at the other side to be sure it's even possible, especially since it may take a couple of hours without proper tools. Oh. Well, let's take a look in the well. It's filled up with soil, and you find nothing interesting about the area around it. Okay. The closer you are to the village, the longer you stay around, the sicker you feel. The taste of gastric juices hits your mouth, your forehead hurts, you start to stumble. Karis, worried by the sight, pokes your head with its nose. I walk far away from the walls. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Leaning on your mount, you go outside, keeping your mouth shut. After a few minutes, your eyes get clearer. It may be better to leave or at least stay away from the village for the rest of the day. Yeah, that place is fucked. You stop and touch your aching stomach. Oh, no. Where do you want to go? I inspect the fields. You're surrounded by what looks like a plowed field in late autumn, or a field plowed in late autumn, disturbed by hundreds of rains and snowfalls. There's a few clumps of grass and wheat, but a place like this one, abandoned for years, should already have turned itself into a green lay. A barren field. Maybe it was overused, but you would still expect the weeds to sprout. A curse? The path leading west from here ends at the edge of the field, shifting into a meadow, then a forest. In the north, you see a path leading around the palisade. I don't have a way to investigate. How about the palisade to the west? The tracks of human footwear and many, many more ape footprints cover the path formed around the palisade's breach. As far as you can tell, the freshest footprints lead to the village. The wooden stakes spread on the ground are rotten, covered in mushrooms, small flowers, insects, and worms, a good source of animal or goblin food, though you'd expect them to also hunt for the birds and eggs. The meadow in the west turns into a forest quickly. The grasses in the north surround dozens of tree stumps already covered with moss and fungi. Going south, you reach a large field, though you don't see any crops. Crops! I shouldn't enter the forest, especially not in this area. It's unpredictable, yeah. I inspect the clearing in the west. The meadow is lush and colorful, so dense it's unsafe for a rider. For a couple of minutes, you lead Karis with a rope, avoiding the potential disaster in case of a hoof falling into an animal den. Being forced to travel around the palisade every time you get here is going to be a pain. Most of the tree trunks look similar and have a comparable size. They were most likely planted with the sole purpose of being cut down and used by the locals, though cutting so many trees at once, that alone could provoke the wrath of the herds. So a process should be spread across a couple of seasons, and you can't be sure that was the case. In the west and north of the clearing, the clearing turns into a wild forest. In the east, you see a road leading north. I leave the clearing. We want to go to the east. I go to the road leading north from the village. You're at the closed northern gate. The neglected road is partially overgrown. You hear a river in the east separated by the lush meadow filled with crickets and rodents. We're going to go to the river. You see a quenching family of boars, some of them brown, some black. You consider turning back, but they pay you little attention. After a couple of grunts, they run north. The river is not too wide, yet unusually deep, with banks altered by the locals for decades, if not centuries. The water is cold and clean, yet filled with long plants growing from the bottom. You would rather avoid jumping inside or drinking from it, but you're tempted to at least wash your face, neck, and hands. Dozens, if not hundreds, of small fish are looking for tasty leaves, but also try to avoid their predators. A dance of life, completely unaware of your presence. You suddenly realize there's something else buried among the kelp. A rusty sickle sticking out of the ground, a couple of stone axes and hoes. The wooden handles and a large wagon are covered with moss, but you recognize their shapes. Why would someone drop them here? On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a thicker forest, impenetrable for a rider. I turn back. Ooh. We're still in pain. Our stomach's still in pain, so we're going a bit slow. I consider washing myself in the river. I'll spend some time setting up a fish trap at the bank. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I do want to take a bath, like a legit bath. You place the basket on the ground, then grab a bowl and start digging. Looking for a few larger worms, you bait the stick and push it inside the basket, locking it between the sides, then cover the entrance with the lid. Tying it together takes you a few good moments, but will be easier later on. You attach the entire trap to a bush and push it into the stream, far enough that it sinks entirely. Who knows how long it will take before something large enough swims inside, but it would be better not to wait for too long, otherwise the prey might die of hunger. I consider washing myself in the river. The living stream filled with fish and plants won't help you much. The oak ash soap you own can help get you cleaner. I won't get any cleaner here. Oh. 7 hours, 30 minutes before dusk. Let's go inspect the pasture. You don't find a single sign of the livestock that lived here in the past. Any bones, horns, antlers, or dung have already been devoured by the wilderness. The pasture ends at the river. On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a thick forest, impenetrable for a rider. What are the chances that a herd of defenseless animals could get there and survive? The breach in the southern fence wasn't made by some brute force. You find axe cuts in the spots that were ultimately broken away. After all these years, there are no tracks that you could follow. I can inspect the fish trap tomorrow or later. Okay. I guess we can come back for that. We should keep heading west, I guess. You enter the wetlands with their many streams, ponds, and fish. Large birds run and fly between the gray, sparse trees that are covered with moss, mushrooms, and critters. For a human, it may be an unwelcoming and harsh realm, but the overwhelming swarms of insects prove that it's a realm full of life. The danger, with teeth and claws, is hidden below the water surface. Oh no, what could what could be in the water? Like, literally anything from any game about fantasy or magic or horror is, like, in this game. So I'm like, I'm waiting for, like, the thing, the swamp monster. I stay away from the banks. Yeah, wise. This plant shouldn't be alive, not without leaves. It doesn't resemble the other trees of the wetlands. It's something else. You get off your horse and prepare your axe. The water is filled with dirt and dead plants, and it smells like an old corpse. The roots are spreading far, breaking through the water's surface. You don't see any saurians in the grasses or on the shore. You approach the table-like altar made of 3 limestone slabs. Were these rocks originally as formless as they are now, or was there a point in time, centuries ago, when they were precisely shaped and decorated by masters of artistry? There's no way to tell. I wonder if this is like a cairn or an altar of some kind. Karis is peacefully observing the dark grass and slapping flies with its tail. Whatever it is that you feel in the air, it's clear that your companion sees this place through very different eyes. I smile and scratch the bottom of its neck. Go ahead, I'll look around just for a moment. I know there are dark forces hidden in here. I ask the right for a vigilant eye and a bright soul. You bow your head, trying to imagine an appropriate ritual. Whenever you start a thought, it runs away, to the sounds of insects, visions of predators, smells of the muddy water. You rub your hands, focusing on what's in your grasp, collecting your wits slowly. It takes a few moments, but you start breathing without sensing the stench. You arrange all the chaotic images into a cohesive utterance. Your prayer is brief, but once it's done, you feel prepared. Oh. I approach the altar. There's clumped dirt in the uneven nicks fused by years of winds and rains. The bottom surface of the table is dusty, but you don't find any spider webs or mold, even though there's a perfect spot for them. The tree roots cling to the altar in many spots. They're firmly attached. You struggle to move them even by an inch. Why are we moving them? The cream-colored limestone is cold and smooth. I try to make an offering. Ooh, what is your sacrifice? Use your keyboard to name objects that you're interested in. What is my sacrifice? How about hair? You pull out a hair of yours and put it on the altar, but you don't see any change. What about looking into the water? You step cautiously without knowing how deep it gets. You have to consider that a saurian could be camouflaged in the mud, waiting for a victim to get near. Since you don't plan to kneel down and drink, you're hoping to dodge a potential strike. Once you get closer, you start breathing again. While the water is dirty, it's also shallow. You see the vegetation, swimming insects, and even small fish. All of them stay away from the tree roots, which looks like a spider web covering the bottom of the pond. Aside from that, you don't see anything that would catch your attention. What's with the roots? You kneel in front of one that's lying on the shore. It's brown, covered with hair that resembles that on your arm. When you touch it, it's moist, soft, and warmer than you'd expect. I do something with it. What do you try to do? Lick. Like I said, the root is soft and doesn't resist your touch. Its smell is not far off from the stench of the water. You feel its warmth, or maybe just trick your imagination. Okay. Oh, no! The root is soft and doesn't resist your touch. Its smell is not far off from the stench of water from which it sticks out. You feel its warmth, or maybe just a trick of your imagination. After a couple of moments, your lips start to itch. Scrape. Either you can't do that or I don't understand you. What's in my inventory? Let's see. Cut. No, I don't want to cut it. Touch. The root is moist, soft, and weirdly warm. Speak to it. Stroke it. Stroke. Pet. Grasp. The root doesn't resist your touch, and you can easily bend it. You hold it tightly, and your hands sink into it like it's a soft pillow. You feel its warmth, but when you hold it for a fair bit, you notice a gentle itching on your skin. Uh-oh. I'm starting to make my whole body itch. What do you try to do? Pull it. The root doesn't resist your touch. You start to pull, but with little to no effect, no matter how much strength you put into it. It's firmly held by something in the water, probably covered by the swamp's floor. Bend. What's like a word for like peeling the bark off? Peel bark. Peel. Scrape with axe. Like, I just want to, like, see what's in the bark. But, okay. The tree is perfectly still and hasn't changed a bit since the first time you saw it. What's in my inventory? A winged hourglass. What about that? I make an offering. Winged hourglass. You place your winged hourglass on the altar, but nothing happens. Okay. What else do we have? A rope. What about our soap? Rope. Nothing happens. I don't want to, like... Maybe I could use my blood. How about blood? Blood is always a good offering. How much? Just a couple of drops. A slight cut. A deep cut. Hurt myself quite a bit. Just a couple of drops. You jab a finger with your knife, the blood flows slowly, and you pay close attention to the moment when it falls on the altar's surface. Each drop splashes in all directions, then disappears. You see no trace of them. How is the root looking now? You kneel in front of the one that's lying on the shore. It's brown, covered with hair that resembles what's on your arm. When you touch it, it's soft, moist, soft, and warmer than you expect. Shave it. Shave the hair off. How about toenail? Rocks. You placed a couple regular rocks on the altar, but it doesn't look like it does anything. I guess it needs more blood. I make a slight cut with the palm of my hand. It will hurt. It will only hurt a little. Damn it! I took a vitality hit. Your blood spills on the altar and sinks into it before it gets to the edge. The tree greets your offering with the sound of moving, stretching branches. You try to ignore the pain and prepare water and bandages to take care of the wound. Okay. Huh. Okay. Cream-colored limestone is cold and smooth. The wind is moving the branches gently. I offer my blood now. No, it's taking too much from me now. Okay. Let's go somewhere else. We can come back later. Oh, we want to go to the northwest. You slow down. Among the shrubs, a small pack of dragonlings is feasting on the carcass of a gray auroch. One of them, with red feathers on its arm, straightens up and gives you a curious glance. Its head tilts left and right, forward and back. It screeches at you, but it doesn't move forward and returns to its meal. You wonder what would happen if you were on foot. Would they let you be, satisfied with their prey, or would they run after you? But if so, for what reason? For now, you have enough space to move forward, yet stay safe. The powerful jaws break the monster's bones loudly, then bite off and swallow chunks of meat. I ride forward, but I keep my distance and look over my shoulder. Yeah. The beaten road serves your palfrey well. The forest to your left becomes sparse and brighter, and there are dozens of human-made paths among the fruit-bearing trees. On your right, there's a large pasture with at least a dozen massive mouflons. 2 of them, already sheared, look comically small. Soon after that, you ride alongside vast, flourishing fields filled with rye, still green, preparing itself patiently for the second harvest. The path ends with a massive wooden gate. The stone wall separating you from the glow of lights behind it isn't as tall as the roofs, but you can't imagine climbing to its top. There are pretty much no cracks, no missing bricks, a sign of many hours of labor, especially considering how massive the settlement is, as wide as a city district. The birds and monkeys are now just a distant echo, replaced with the sounds of carts, running, hammers, saws, laughter, and shouts. Finally, maybe I can rest here. I don't feel comfortable in large settlements. Let's get this over with. No, I'm good with large settlements. A young man is leaning against the closed gate, covered by its shadow. He's young, tanned, and has short, elegantly trimmed red beard. Beneath the green gambeson, he wears an expensive tunic decorated with colorful trim. From his arm hangs a steel helmet, though the metal is so thin that it's made mostly of wool and leather. Bingly gingly. Hello, Zep. Hello. We're playing Roadwarden, which is a text-based visual novel with some nice sprite art and lots of interesting dialogue branches. Also, we're going to an ad break soon. We'll take a 3-minute break. I'm going to go get my humidifier so I don't ruin my voice and my throat because we've been reading for like over 2 hours now. So I'm going to get that as soon as the ad break starts. He moves into the light and takes on the posture of a disciplined soldier, not a mercenary. He's standing upright with his chin up. There are 2 weapons on the ground, leaning on the wooden beams of the gate, an axe made of steel and a wooden club. He doesn't reach for either. You dismount smoothly, still having some vigor left. Karis holds its tail high. A narrow path leads north toward 2 field workers, one with a hoe and one with a pitchfork. They wave at you. They can't see their faces, or you can't see their faces, but their clothes are simple. Gray pants and vests made from hemp and wool. I wave back. Why not? Oh boy. They talk for a bit, looking toward you and pointing at your mount. Oh, ad break. All right, we'll be right back. Go for a stretch, and I'll see you soon. All right, we now have the humidifier. My voice will last a bit longer. It helps to not do like voices either that are like too strenuous, right? All right. So we've waved back at the farmers in the field. They talk for a bit, looking toward you and pointing at your mount, then walk away, disappearing behind the wall's corner. The guard smiles, yet avoids your eyes and has to clear his throat before he speaks. Welcome, traveler. If you're here to make trouble, Hallersdale welcomes you. You have the whitest flower there is. Or we have the whitest flower there is. When he bows, you realize it's a well-practiced performance. If it's new garments you're looking for, you can order everything you need right here, in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Capes, boots, vests, robes. Or if you're yourself a master of the needle, I can assure you we have the fabric you're looking for. His act is over, and he glances at your mount in a moment of silence. His eyes get wider as he observes it with childlike fascination. This is Karis. It helps me patrol the roads. You can pet its side if you want, but no sudden movements. I'm Owen, your new Roadwarden. I want to see your mayor. I think we should get straight to the point with this guy. A city folk, aye. The mayor is busy, but I'll ask her. Give us a moment to let you in. He knocks at the gate, which is then pulled inwards by two other guards, a man and a woman, wearing their own gambesons, similarly green, but tailor-made to match their figures. The nearby buildings are simple houses made of wooden beams and covered with thatch, while the storehouse is even more modest, with a roof made of planks. The watchtower has a ladder made of ropes and sticks, no stairs. Just give me a moment. The guard strides away before he finishes the last word. The others close the gate behind you and observe your mount carefully. Your eyes run east to a humming creek running through the center of the village. I wait for the return of the messenger. Calming sounds, aye. That's Howler's Creek. The guard, like most of the locals, is taller than you. Wide but shallow, there's nae been a flood in years. Pa told me there used to be nae bridges. Oh my god. Oh no, Randy! Hello! I gotta wait for the cars to stop. Hi, Randon. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Hello, fellow Randonites. It's Owen Aeon, your sparkly racing cat. Today, we're playing a very quiet game. We're playing Roadwarden. This is like it's a Western visual novel. It's kind of like The Witcher in theme, with its own sort of lore and world building. So we're what's called a Roadwarden, and we're journeying along this peninsula, kind of exploring the land, getting the lay of the land, finding out what monsters reside here. And I guess the point is to get it ready for a merchant guild to take over. Seems like a really scummy thing to do, but, you know, girls got to get paid, right? So, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow, Neo Satros. Appreciate it. Twisties, hello. Saku, hello. Hello, Vite. Hello, AMR. HDT, hello. Welcome. So this is a very quiet game. There's going to be a lot of reading, but there's good dialogue, and I'm enjoying it so far. I think this was like $5 in the Steam sale, and it's got a lot of great reviews too. So if you're in for like a Witcher themed visual novel, I think this is a good one to check out. All right. Calming sound, aye. That's Howler's Creek. The guard, like most of the locals, is taller than you. Wide but shallow, there's nae been a flood in years. Pa told me there used to be nae bridges, neighbors crossed it with their boots in their hands, and 'tis clean like a raindrop. But there are nae many fish. We're the cleanest village in the north, her companion chuckles brightly. When the guard returns, he's still alone. She can nae come now. A friend of mine is in labor, aye. The mayor wants to be there when the child arrives, but I was asked to show you the village. I nod. Fine. He approaches the watchtower. Tie your mount here, and we'll keep the kids away. Most of the neighbors are getting ready to celebrate. What are we celebrating? I'm scared. Now I'm scared. Once they're like, "Hey, welcome to the village. We're about to have a celebration." It's like, "Oh no. what's gonna go wrong?" Once you're done, he grabs the rope ladder. The view up from there is gorgeous. I climb after him, or I nod and think of my knife. If it's a trap, I'll get him first. Yeah. Even though the ladder swings in all directions, the guard gets to the top quickly, like a monkey climbing up creepers. You, on the other hand, need to stop and wait for the ladder to calm itself. When you join the man on the wooden platform, you're a bit dizzy. He's leaning on the wooden parapet, observing the area with a smile, with no weapon in sight. I look around. Ah, got a good view of the village. The sprite art in this is gorgeous. I love the parchment colored feel. That's why I've got my my model right now is a bit on the black and white side to sort of match the theme. I might have to change that color a little bit. It should be a little more brown. See, there's nae a place like Howler's Dell. The guard points in every direction, giving you no time to contemplate. For the next few minutes, he describes the fields and their crops, the flocks and the pastures, and the shepherds inspecting the fences, the ancient garden of trees and bushes, larger than the village itself, the sunlight dancing on the stream to its own tune. If you are to believe everything he describes, this place has access to everything in abundance. The sweetest honey, the most fragrant bread, the softest wool, and the beer. 'Tis excellent. He sounds like a city merchant who's trying to sell an old house. Thank you so much for the follow, Squirtle. Thank you so much. Oh, we hit 300 followers. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Shout out to all my fellow Randonites. Oh yeah, let me shout out the Minecraft server. So I started the unofficial Randon Minecraft server about a year ago. This time in December. So as of yesterday, December 28th, we're celebrating our 1 year of having the server online. So if you're interested in hanging out on the Randon Minecraft server, just ask in the Minecraft channel on the Randon Discord, and we'll get you set up. Fight Height, welcome to the village. You're just in time. We were about to have our kill and eat the stranger feast. Yeah, that's what this feels like. I don't want any like midsummer shit going on here. All right, what an annoying kid near Hovlavin. You could find 5 larger and richer settlements in less than 2 days, or no wonder he's so proud. Why wouldn't he be? They've tamed this scrap of land and live in comfort. I'm a nice road warden. I'm a nice guy. I'm a good cat warden. We're gonna be nice to these people. The islet in the middle connects both parts of the village. According to the man, the northern gate is hardly ever opened, as it leads nowhere now. Near the eastern gate, there's the Ape Ale Inn. That's the place that the last innkeeper was like, fuck that place. Fuck those guys. It's crazy there. You don't want to go there. Oh, no. Oh, I want to go there. I want to get fucked up at the Ape Ale Inn. And we're going to go get fucked up at the Ape Ale Inn. Where you can find a bed and victuals. And there's the stall where Akikos rewards our work unless we annoy him with pointless talk. He lets out a chuckle. On the opposite side of the creek, there's another white house. It belongs to Bion, the best clothier in the north. The priests live in the southeast near the wall, but they do not talk to strangers. I know he's got like a Scottish accent, but I can't do a Scottish accent very well. You also hear about the hunter, the cooper, the fisher, the miller. The pie maker lives with his sister, the baker. Oh, the pie maker living with the baker. Oh my. The smith and her husband, the carpenter, live with their kids. Some of the larger buildings could accommodate 2, maybe even 3 generations at once. There could be more than 100 dwellers here. You consider stopping his speech, but he suddenly points at the islet again. There, see? The mayor's coming. The one wearing purple. You're free to join her, traveler. I nod and climb down. You try to get down quickly, but 2 steps are enough to make you sure that it's a bad idea. You wait for the ladder to find its balance. You're relieved when you touch the ground again. You untie your palfrey and follow the guard. You pass a small pasturage surrounded by a wooden fence, a few loose chickens, and a tethered boar. The fancier buildings are covered with whitewash coating and surrounded with vegetables, herbs, and flowers. The bridges are wide enough to carry even a wagon, but for Karis, walking on the wooden beams is far from pleasant. The islet is empty, but you notice an empty stall painted with the shapes of colorful flowers. I walk over the second bridge. Along the entire path, you notice more and more people observing you, smiling, or casually greeting you as they're forced on their own tasks. Finally, you reach the main square. A large tree grows in the center, surrounded by dark water, held together by a thin wall, perfect for sitting, but the smell coming from the liquid makes you think of rotten eggs. The plant reminds you of the tree you saw in the south next to the swamp altar. In the north, you see the Ape Ale Inn. Judging by the tables, stools, and benches outside of it, it's open for guests. The villagers are chatting and dining loudly, and you catch their curious glances. On the side of the dining area, the merchant is arguing with a tall, broad-shouldered worker. An old man is sitting by himself, eating a pie, with a walking stick leaning against the table. A young woman is cleaning the empty mugs in the creek, speaking with a man at least twice her age, maybe her father. Or maybe her lover, who knows? We don't judge here. I need a spot to tether Karis. There's a wide wooden roof right next to the gate that shelters carts, crates, and sacks. You move your mount next to a donkey to a beam placed here just for this purpose. Without a moment of hesitation, Karis starts to chew on the nearby haystack. You have some time to make sure it doesn't struggle with your bundles. You return to the inn. 300 followers. Yeah, let's go. I look for the mayor and approach her. She's sitting on a chair with a 4-year-old boy on her knees. She's holding his hand gently, showing him how to eat gruel from a bowl. Here, kid, I'm showing. You need to learn how to eat your gruel. This is how you eat it. Spoon. Spoon in hand. Scoop up. Put in mouth. Swallow. It's not a cheap meal, though. You spot nuts, berries, and milk, and the added honey makes it yellowish. The kid is clean and quiet, and once he notices your arrival, he crams his mouth with a spoonful of oats. Bite Height's taking notes on how to eat gruel. he needs instructions. We need training on gruel eating. All mechanics. You're getting your gruel training tomorrow. 8 a.m. sharp. Be there. Now, love, the mayor titters. Don't get distracted. She rubs the meal off his face. A few more spoons and you'll go to El Papa in the kitchen, aye? She gives you a radiant, though apologetic smile, then turns her attention back to her companion. I observe her more closely. Her long, full-sleeve linen dress must have been dyed once in blue and once in red to achieve its dark, fancy purple, which would draw looks even on Hovlavin. From her left shoulder hangs a green woolen cape as thin as a shawl. The brown belt on her waist has a large steel buckle that portrays a running deer with unrealistically large antlers growing in all directions like tree branches. Unlike her tribesfolk, she's pale, with powdered and rough cheeks, and her rouged cheeks, powdered and rouged cheeks, and her lips match her outfit, though they're a bit closer to wine red. The thick gray strands in her long blonde hair look more like a fashion choice than the result of aging. Her eyes are the color of her cape, keen and vigorous. She's shorter than most people around. The heights are a big deal here, I've noticed. Like, anytime they describe somebody, it's like, oh yeah, he's 5 foot. Oh yeah, they're taller than me. Oh yeah, they're shorter than me. They make a big deal out of height in this. She's shorter than most people around, though would still be the tallest woman in most of the northern settlements. While she's around 40, her slim hands add fragility to her appearance, even though her posture is upright, her legs confidently crossed, and her delicate voice assertive. She makes plenty of gestures, but her shoulders hardly ever move. I wait for as long as it takes. After a few more minutes, the boy lets out a gentle cough, and after a pat on the back, the mayor puts him on the ground. You did a great job, love, but now I need to talk with our guest. Darling. She addresses one of the inn workers, a girl close to 15. Take him to father, will you? Her tone suddenly gets firmer, leaving no hint of a question or suggestion. Yes, ma, she responds. Both her hair and her eyes are nothing like those of her brother, and neither of the kids resemble their mother. Oh no. The mayor gets around. the mayor does whatever she wants. So we have a Roadwarden again. Please sit down. She vaguely shows you the palm of her open hand, letting you pick any place you want. Since I'm her guest, I sit on the bench next to her, or I sit on the stool opposite her. I'm here as a trade partner. Yeah, we'll do that. You have a good look at the inn's front door, leading to a cellar-like ground floor. It's dark, with crates and barrels covered with fruits, nuts, and vegetables. The actual inn is upstairs, but the only people who go in or out are the workers, most of whom are teenagers. The mayor observes your outfit carefully, maintaining a polite, though cool smile. Once your eyes meet, she hardly ever looks away. I'm sure you're hungry. My husband will bring us something soon. I'm pretty good. No food is free. We'll show our appreciation. I appreciate it. Didn't mention it. Hunger makes me peevish, and the day is too nice for that. She taps her chest and looks at a flock of birds that fly above you loudly, heading south. As we're waiting, be so good as to help me understand something. Eva, if you're but a mercenary, I can nay imagine a single reason for you to choose this realm for your wardening, nay so long after Astarion's disappearance. Ooh, mention of Astarion. There's nay glory or treasures to find here. Her pale fingers form a 10 on her stomach, then clasp, leaving the 4 fingers pointing at you. You were sent here by the merchants. They want the peninsula. How do we respond? Friendly, I present Hovlavin's interest as an opportunity. Playful, I portray the situation as lightly as I can. Distanced, I simply explain the situation. Intimidating, I make it clear that collaborating with the city would keep her people safe. Vulnerable, well, she caught me. I can't hide the fact that the guild needs new opportunities. I feel like a distance approach here would be best. I simply explain the situation. You introduce yourself and confirm her suspicions. The guild and the deputy are in agreement. They are willing to send troops to this place, defend the settlements, and patrol the roads. They cover their pay. You'd only have to look after their board and lodging. You explain that the rate of taxes is open to negotiations, but they would be taken twice a year in spring and fall. You have time to think about it, you assure her, and you're free to consult with your people. Safer roads brings many travelers, artisans, merchants. I know you realize it's an opportunity. Yes, I do, she finally interrupts you. But roads bring other people as well, not all of them desired by us. As she observes your palfrey, she twists her deer buckle left and right, left and right. The times have changed, and your superiors were kind enough to send a messenger, not a temple guard, with a list of demands. She grasps the buckle with her fist. But when it comes to the guild, there's always a catch. Her accent is now almost identical to the one used in the city. Oh. What sort of catch? I'm telling you everything I know. I can't ask you to trust me, but I'm not hiding anything. You don't have to trust anyone blindly. The negotiations can satisfy both sides. You're speaking from experience, I assume. I think she would like that observation. You're speaking from experience. Do I really sound that confident? She titters and waves her hand by her chin, as if you just offered her a compliment. I've seen such negotiations during my studies, though I can't say I took an active part in them. Let me show you an example. She theatrically clears her throat, patting her chest with one hand and covering her mouth with another, then leans forward and rests on her elbows, allowing her hands to freely make gestures. You make a deal with the settlement, flour and wool in exchange for coins and tools. You send the first traders, and they imply that you're ready to pay for more for, let's say, parchment. Months later, you want no more rye, just the parchment and wool. We cannot butcher any more mouflons, the locals say. Don't worry, you answer. We'll send you a small flock. Just turn one of your fields into a pasturage. As she pretends to speak as different characters, her voice comically shifts, and she has no issue switching between accents. I keep a straight face. She swings her hand above the table. Another year goes by, and while there's more parchment, the village lacks some crops. The tribe needs not just tools and coins, plenty of coins, but also seeds, and the guild is not satisfied. Sending our wagons cost a lot, and there are more highwaymen now. If you want us to come again, you need more mouflons and to sell us their cheese. And guess what? With a haunting laugh, she straightens up and spreads her arms like someone a third her age. Turns out that the village can't say no anymore. They lack supplies, seeds, and land. They can't refuse. I nod, she's right, and it's better not to say anything stupid. Don't you think the city would see value in keeping you strong, fewer risks for them? I smile. I have no doubt that a smart leader like yourself is going to protect your people from these games. Man, she's tricky. I don't think she'll take well to flattery, but I kind of like this answer anyway. I kind of respect her. Like, she's got it all planned out, right? She knows what they're gonna do. I like this one. Oh, how wonderful. Keep the compliments coming. No soul in the square reacts to her loud laughter. But all that doesn't mean I can counter every single city play on my own. That's the good thing about living here with these kind of people around us. She nods toward two little girls that are carrying a basket filled with vegetables between them. If some of us struggle, we all have to deal with the consequences. We all struggle, but we all benefit. But Havlavin, if they see profit in chopping off our arms, they'll sell them to the first bidder. She gives you a sad glance, but cheers up after a sigh. Let's finish the introductions. I'm Tice, one of the villagers of the Aeon Inn and the mayor... Oh, one of the keepers of the Aeon Inn and the mayor of Howler's Dell. I assume it would be convenient for you to take my answer back to Havlavin. She wonders for a moment. Say, when could we expect the first caravan? After winter? It depends on what you can sell and what you want in return. Cool. While the conversation goes on, the food gets served. The refreshing aroma of roasted mutton covered with a thick sauce made of mint, parsley, and honey tempts you to bite in right away. The juices are sinking into the round trencher, a plate made of simple brown bread. There's also a small bowl filled with chopped red radishes and a sliced boiled egg, and a mug filled with cold buttermilk. It's all brought by a few young people, all of them referring to the mayor as their mother, and in the end, the innkeeper himself shows up to wish you a good meal. He's wearing a clean orange tunic and not so clean apron made of hemp. He politely introduces himself as Eric's, and after confirming you won't get sick from what he prepared, he leaves you and his wife to your conversation. Tice tears into the meat into smaller pieces, then eats slowly, often expressing her enjoyment with a hum. She's kind of weird, isn't she? She's kind of weird. She's like the mother to everyone in town. She's tearing into the meat, like, into smaller pieces and then eating it in a weird way. I wonder if she's like a werewolf or something. She's like a werewolf, and this is like her village, like, pack of, like, you know what I mean? Kind of like her den. Meanwhile, we get to the important stuff. Sounds like the nearby ground is fertile. The village would gladly pay its taxes in grain and vegetables, with the expectation that a squad of soldiers would provide additional protection. Our youth is strong, she claims proudly, so we don't need your guards on our walls. But a lone road warden won't keep the roads passable. We need fighters willing to patrol the roads, maybe even the heart of the woods. That's what we'd expect in return. You're not an expert when it comes to linen, cheese, and wool, so the mayor spends a good couple of minutes describing the outstanding quality of what the village has to offer, especially the clothes, which are meant to be as unique as those made by Master Crispus. You vaguely recognize the name of this tailor shoemaker, but you've never earned enough to pay him for as much as a single sleeve. And of course, we will never reject some steel and bronze. We lack alloys for sickles and scythes. She then repeats her question about starting a trade route. Truth be told, the guild is not sure what the peninsula has to offer. It's going to take more than your village to convince them. Understandable, but you won't find much in the other tribes. They have barely enough to survive, even after they trade for our crops. For we have the only decent soil in this realm. At least the people of Gale Rocks have salt and barrels of fish, while Creek sells meat and wood. Actually, if you haven't been in Creeks yet, the farthest village in the northeast, you could give them a chance. She nods with a smile. They could use your help with keeping their roads safe. White Marshes, on the other hand, as well as Old Pagos, are close to worthless. For a trade route, that is. She clears her throat. After these words, she stands up, walks to another table, and offers her trencher to an elderly man who sits there by himself. With a trembling voice, he thanks her, then starts to chew on the soggy bread. She sits down, wipes her hand into a clean cloth, adjusts the folds in her cape, and once again crosses her legs. So tell me, Owen, how's Hovlavin? I haven't gathered much news since the invasion. This game reminds me less of The Witcher and more of like Spice and Wolf. there's a lot of like economics and like travel and trade going on here, rather than like straight out like fighting monsters and, you know, weird things like that. Things stay humble but are starting to look brighter. The harbor is full of life and the kids grow strong. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. Not everyone has their own bed, but the new generation is ready to start their own fight. It's far from great. Children who lost their parents during the war have no trade in hand, and there's not enough settlements to send them away. Many people are unable to prosper. Do we lean into her, like, you know, desire to care for people, if that's what she's really into? Or ambitions for a brighter future? I'm wondering if this prosperity thing is the way to go. It couldn't be easy, not after all the blows that landed on that place. That's the thing with the works of humans, isn't it? The thing with the works of humans. She's definitely not human. She's definitely like some kind of like beast in disguise. That's the thing with the works of humans, isn't it? A house you build for half a year turns to dust with a single storm. A proud city falls, the emperor's mask shatters. The children from this village, she glances at a young girl cleaning the table, are just as fragile. They have food, clothes, and walls, but there will be a time of disaster. And once it strikes, and only then, they'll take to heart the same lesson that the cities had to learn. And it will be forgotten again after the next sunny spring. She pauses and looks at you with a sad smile. But don't let me babble any longer. What can I do for you, Owen? Okay, here we go. We got our branching dialogue choices now. Let's get straight to the point. I'm looking for Asterion. She stares you in the eyes, then turns toward Karis. Is your palfrey a mare? We have 2 jacks. Could use some mules. Okay, so she's literally just dodging the question entirely. I'm looking for Asterion. I heard you, but he's not welcome here. Her voice is harsh. And I don't know where he went. We haven't burned him or fought his awoken shell, wherever he is. A long pause. It's not our problem. What are his wrongdoings? If you have to know, he failed and won't get another chance. He was meant to escort Aegidia, a daughter of mine, to her betrothed in Gale Rocks. She was a great archeress, and the road from here to the coast is not that dangerous. When they saw goblins on the road, Asterion ordered her to push through right into their trap. She touches her deer-shaped buckle. They got jumped like a bunch of wealthy pilgrims. A Roadwarden worth their gruel should know better. He can fight with a blade, but my girl, she never had a chance. She sighs and looks at the gate. He disappeared soon after his pitiful attempt at apologizing to me, and we closed our doors behind him. For good. I'll let you know if he ever does try to return. Why did you let him leave? He didn't do anything, well, forbidden by our laws. He was simply stupid and cannot be trusted. But this isn't Hovlavin. We have no rich folk to dread. We treat each other fairly. Lost in her thoughts, she rubs the neckline of her dress. One good thing I can say about him is that he didn't try to justify his decisions or to avoid the consequences, but I'd rather have him prove first he can do what's asked of him. Where can I find him? She adjusts her cape with an annoyed shrug. Try asking for him in the north. He spends most of his time between white marshes, gale rocks, and creeks. Here, he wasn't that eager to share his plans. Did you ever find your daughter? For a few breaths, her eyes seek something in your face. Her words are careful yet hesitant. She's with the fogs now. The goblins were after food, so they carried her shell away. One day, she's going to charge at our walls, awoken and empty. Even though she was a bit mawkish, her heart was strong and patient. She listened to people, was ready to help them, and to cry with them. I could tell you stories, but what for? Let the dead rest. You have quite a big family. She titters weakly. At one point, there were 12 kids living in our house, 9 girls, 3 boys. They come and go as it should be. A few are already with the forest, but most are all grown now, even started their own families. She looks away at a girl wiping spilled milk with a wet cloth. To be perfectly clear, they aren't exactly our children. It's a custom of our village for the mayor to look after the orphans. Thankfully, Eric's has a big heart and much more patience than I do. As she speaks, her smile widens. Okay, all right. So they're orphans, quote unquote. She's not just like always having kids every year. Thanks for the help. I wonder, back in Hovlavin, did you spend any time in Backwood Corner? It used to be this dark, dirty alley with muggers working even in daylight. I stayed there with Octavia, the miller, in exchange for doing chores for her. She had this small wooden hut. Since the war, even the soldiers have avoided that street. People say it's a home for thugs. You wouldn't recognize that it's now a respectable street with one of the fancies. I like that you can kind of like write your own lore here. They're not like so tied to like, okay, it's this way. This is how it is. You wouldn't recognize it's now a respectable street with one of the fanciest inns in the city, the Apple and the Boar. It would make you feel like you're in the old days. The Boarhead Inn is almost 50 years old now. There's no such street anymore. It fell to a great fire. I would say like it would make you feel like you're in the old days. You explain that while the place is still called the bad part of the city, the Boarhead makes good coin selling beer and ale to students, mercenaries, and adventurers. The whole land may turn wild one day, you quote one of the local traders, but Backwood Corner will still stay the same. She sighs with relief and puts her left hand on her hip. Comforting, don't you think? That there are these places, these dark corners, where you can always find what you expect. Living there, though? That sounds awful, and always was. She chuckles. I bet the thugs of my youth are no longer around, so I wouldn't count on them giving me a free pass. But I wish I could have the chance to drink a mug or two with the innkeeper once more. The old lady was always too good to stay in that muck. Oh, what about that ruined village south of here? Her tense gaze shifts into an awkward click of her tongue as she leans away from you. I don't even want to think about their tragic fate. No one can negotiate with the wrath of the herds. A long pause. And I better not find you upsetting my neighbors with these sad questions. It was a challenging time for all of us, a wound we won't forget. Okay, so she really doesn't want to talk about it. I saw a weird tree south of here, the one with the altar standing in front of it. She straightens up and raises her chin. You mean Beholder, the guardian spirit of the wetlands. Every fall we bring it our gifts, and in return it provides us with its blessed fruit, the flesh of the forest. She stares into your eyes. It's older than the oldest books and the oldest thoughts. The druids help us honor its sleep and show us how to ask for its help. Neither of these rituals, she scoffs, would be of use for you. Well, I've already offered it some fucking blood from my hand, and clearly it did something. So I'd really like to know what I'm supposed to feed it. You seem to be fairly well off, even more so than the other people in the village. What's your secret? What's your secret? She reaches for her buckle, and her voice grows cold. There's no secret, traveler. There's hard work, risks, and sacrifices, and the support of those that care about me. The good things that happen to me shine on my people just as much. Think about it before you mention it again. She adjusts her cape. She's very protective of her people. You can tell. I was impelled to the north. The innkeeper feels uneasy about Glaush's band. When you mentioned the raids on the northern villages, her eyes narrow. Are you sure? It's the first I've heard about it. Glausha has been around since years back, but she's not much of a nuisance. I'm just a messenger. He's asking for you to join forces with him. Well, I can't give you my answer. I won't ask our hunters to endanger their lives in the pursuit of some gossip. I could ask around, learn some more about this. She sighs with exaggerated relief. What a splendid idea. There are only 3 villages in the north. White Marshes, farther north by the western road, Gale Rocks by the northern coast, and creeks in the far east. Bring me news from those places and you will get my answer. I'm paid for passing the message from here to the Pelt to the north. Asking me to ride for you half through the peninsula and back is a different deal entirely. She lets out a brief chuckle, but her eyes observe you carefully. And how much are you being paid, can I ask? You can't. Her smile disappears. Now that's just plain rude. Bring me the news that I've asked for and I'll give you 2 dragon bones. No more, no less. Okay. Tell me, how do people dress in the city these days? Is it similar to what we have here? Before the war, the merchants were wearing those really long dresses and robes, way too long for my taste. They got mud stains after every rain, and I see no reason to keep shoes completely hidden. Ah, so she's a fan of the mini skirts. We're a town full of mini skirts. Not anymore. There's always a shortage of fabric. Most people wear tunics like in the old days. For years, there was not enough hemp and wool at hand, so people started to wear furs again. As far as I can tell, many folks wear headgear. They just wear headgear. That no clothes, totally nude, just like helmets and hats and furry things like cat ears. I'm not sure. I don't pay much attention to fashion. People have started to wear furs again. Now, that's just sad. When I was there, only the monks wore them for some reason. I've no doubt that the vengeful beasts have thrown the roads into a nightmare. The city folk would be smarter putting on rags. Even though she sighs, there's a cruel satisfaction in her smile. A big hat. Exactly, Matthew. They just wear those very tall, what are they called? Ushankas? The Russian, like, bear fur hats. Those. They're just wearing those and nothing else. Loincloths, maybe. What would it take to make you consider joining Hovlaven? I can consider it right now. While she laughs, her eyes remain keen. But if you want me to give you some answers, let's see. She looks up and to the right, theatrically raising her hand to her chin. Some gestures of goodwill would be a great start. Since you're the guild's messenger, I need to know you can be relied on. She gives you a wide, white grin. And that's only the first step, I assume. Of course! Do you even have the power to handle tax negotiations? She scoffs loudly at your head shake. Do enough for my village and I'll lend you a beautiful signed letter. A list of all the things my neighbors are looking for, as well as what they can give in return. Your superiors are going to see more than enough to prepare their offer. She rubs her hands. I think that's fair. Yeah, looks like we're in agreement. Yeah, it's always this way, right? Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Perfect. One more thing, though. She puts her elbows on the table, leaning closer to you. If you go behind my back, I'm not going to wait for a dagger. I'll end you first. Jesus. She rests her chin against her open palms, giving you a disarmingly warm smile. I'm sure people already know that we have a new Roadwarden. Maybe ask around to see if anyone needs your help. The more my neighbors trust you and need you, the more willing they'll be to offer you better pay. Well, let's start there. What can I do for you? Oh, so kind of you to ask. But before I ask you to run, let's see how you can walk, then, shall we? Her eyes wander left and right, and as she gestures for a nearby guard to move away. He nods, then gestures at a few other souls to follow him. While a few of the locals that cast curious looks at you, they turn away as quickly as you notice them. The mayor's shiny green eyes are still locked on you, and her voice is close to a whisper. Since Asterian's disappearance, there's little trade on the roads, and not much news reaches us. Be so kind, her flirtatious tone distracts you with how obviously fake it is, and help me learn some interesting tales about our neighbors. I smile back at her. You mean ones that weren't meant to reach you? See, I knew that deep down you're a true sage. She titters and straightens up, adjusting her cape without haste. Do you have something to share? The squad that made camp at the southern crossroads is now nothing more than 2 people. They plan to return to Hovlaven before fall. Sure, I'll share that with her. Since they cleared that camp of brigands, they went so quiet I almost forgot about them. She rubs her chin with her thumb. I'm surprised they managed to stay alive till this day. Sending such an inexperienced group here shows that the officials misjudged this land. That's all I have to say. We talk and talk, but I still don't know where you're from, Owen. What's your story? Have you lived in Hovlaven your entire life? In a way, I know it as any other city folk, but every spring I trained in horsemanship in a nearby village. Only for a bit, I was raised in a small village just nearby and moved to the city after I decided to look for luck as a road warden. Yeah, I like that one. To see the city for the first time after being surrounded by a couple of small houses and fields, it's a strange feeling, isn't it? She puts her hands on the table. Even after my second winter there, I felt like a stranger. but those who know how to live in the countryside close to the wilderness. We will always find a new home for ourselves, don't you think? She gives you an encouraging smile. Have you heard of the necromancers to the north? What a question. Have you heard of the necromancers to the north? How do they fare? She taps her fingers on the table. Yes, I have. After you ask her to tell you more, she seems to regain her confidence. You mean White Marshes, for sure. I don't know all that much about what's happening there. We avoid their lands if we can. She frowns. I shouldn't gossip about it with strangers. We can talk about it on another occasion. All right. Tell me about Howler's Dell. It is what it seems like, the greatest village in the far north. She raises her hand and makes an inviting gesture. Though I hope to still improve this and that, she winks at you, but is suddenly interrupted by the pained cry of a little boy who hurt his knee during a fall. As an amused elder tries to calm him down, the mayor shrugs it off and titters, then meets your eyes again. She does a lot of tittering, doesn't she? We should rename her Titters. Life's good here. We have what we need and a lot of what we want, building on top of more than 12 generations of hard work and bravery. She spends a good few minutes telling you about mouflons, wheat, rye, hemp, cheese, and wool, proud of every glimpse of prosperity. Whenever she mentions an artisan, shepherd, or farmer, she doesn't miss a chance to mention how significantly she improved their conditions. Oh, she's got an ego for sure. She also omits some topics. You hear of no tales, songs, ancestors, rituals, or days of prayer. It's like listening to a tax collector. Only at the very end of her speech does she mention the wisdom of the elders, now kept in the teachings of the druids who help her guide those who trust her. They heal our wounds in our gardens, she explains, but then changes the topic to all the fruit trees, hairs, and nuts in the woods. Titters like, oh, ho, ho, ho. Yeah, something like, oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Once she's done with it, I nod politely. I keep thinking, surely city folk don't just eat wild game, salt fish, and groats. What animals do people breed in the nearby villages? Mostly ibexes. There's a lot of mouflons. Mostly pondfish and fowl, but some can afford to buy boars. There's barely any meat, so people have started to raise crickets and rats. Whatever people can buy, I guess. I don't eat animals when I can avoid it. I don't eat animals when I can avoid it. I feel like mouflons. Oh, that's terrible. You catch a hint of annoyance in her laughter. Our livestock won't sell well, but that's fine. It's hard to keep the number of lambs high. We would need to sacrifice a field to raise a new flock. Do you need my assistance? First, I need to be sure you can handle yourself. Bring me some juicy rumors, won't you? And maybe talk with my neighbors. We could use a few coins or someone with a steady hand. All right. Thank you for your time. You're in front of the Ale Ape Inn. What about Akakios, the trader? The man behind the counter is inspecting a sack of white flour, mumbling to himself and occasionally cursing. The other locals walk away, giving you space to talk trade in peace. Weevils, he points at the little dark blue insect that's trying to flee. Ship me fire. 'Twas ground a few days ago. Nay, pies for us tomorrow, looks like. He puts the sack on the ground. I'll take care of it later. A Roadwarden, Eva, the mayor, cared enough to see you, and kids are lining up to look at your horse. Strangers are like ghosts to him now. He's wearing a simple brown robe with no hood, a rope instead of a belt, and modest trim made of green thread. It barely reaches below his knees, revealing his sandals and crude pants made of linen. At the same time, it's way too large for him and hangs from him like a bag. Oh, man. He looks like a poor vendor from Havlavin. He stands sideways to you with legs crossed, leaning on the counter with one hand and keeping the other one on his hip. He's around 40, short and a bit greasy, with a humble beard and hair. His fingers are unusually long. You're a trader? Are you a barrel collector, or do you just sell them? I'm looking for a trader. I'm here to trade, not talk. I may not be wealthy, but I need a few things. Are you a barrel collector, or do you just sell them? He observes you in silence, then pretends to yawn. Brilliant. As far as I care, you can leave your pouch and bugger off. I help my neighbors sell what they have in abundance, or divide things among our workers, builders, and travelers. If you want something, let's get to it. Name's Akakios. I don't need furniture or barrels of food. Do you have anything I can use? It's hard to say, What do travelers need? He clears his throat and turns away to have a look at his store. While some of the crates and barrels are empty, they carry an assortment of odds and ends. Tools made of wood and stone, pots, mugs, seeds, vegetables, fabric. It takes him a few minutes to look through the wares. He puts 3 packages on the countertop, and as he unwraps the first one, you recognize what it is by the shape alone. Tell me this is Naya Beauty. He chuckles and lets you hold the shiny battle axe. The haft is long, but the head is light. I know what you're thinking. Your eyes say everything. He praises the weapon loudly, but you barely listen to him. You see your reflection in the unused blade, as sharp as they get. You're not a smith, but you see not a spot of rust. When you take a swing, it takes hardly any effort. The leather straps holding the pieces... Oh my goodness. Hello. Hello, Night Eternus. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm Owen Aeon, your sparkly racing cat. Today, we are playing Roadwarden. We're playing Roadwarden for the first time. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good stream. Hope you having a good Sunday and a good end of the holiday season. What were you guys playing? What were you up to? Anyway, we're playing Roadwarden, which is a kind of a visual novel set in a fantasy world where we're playing the role of something akin to a Witcher. So if you're familiar with the Witcher series, this is kind of close to that. And there's a lot of economics and and trade and other things going on. So playing Fallout 4, working on finding my son. I love Fallout 4. I'm a sucker for Bethesda games. As much crap as they get, I really did enjoy Fallout 4 a lot. Hello, Glitching Rex. Hello. Sounds like a fun game. Yeah, it is a fun game. It's a lot of dialogue though. It's a lot of reading. So I understand that this is not a game that's that's really for everybody to stream to. But I love just kind of checking out new things. This is a overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, and it was on sale, and people were talking about it. So I figured I'd check it out. Oh, Bethesda, as broken as they are, they're so wonderful. Yeah, I've sunk so many hundreds of hours into Morrowind and Skyrim and Fallout 4 and New Vegas and all that. Old Bethesda games were so good. Yeah, I like them a lot. To be honest, I didn't even have a problem with Starfield. I enjoyed Starfield personally. I think I put 300 hours into that. Got all the achievements. I had a good time. The story was garbage. The quests were kind of boring too, but the rest of the game was enjoyable for me. So I get a lot of pleasure out of open world games that many people would consider mediocre. So... But yeah, Fallout 4, that's one of the few Bethesda games for me that actually had a halfway decent story. I actually liked it a lot. And the female sole survivor has some really good voice acting in that too. I really enjoyed the voice work she did for the main character. Yeah, I love those types, yeah. Yeah, I give a lot of games a pass. I just try to enjoy what I try to enjoy. I don't lean into your typical quote unquote gamer opinions. I just play what I want to play and I enjoy it. But yeah, this is a pretty cool game. I mean, there's a lot of dialogue here, but I'm invested in the world. I like what I've heard so far. Quick question: New Vegas or Fallout 3? Oh, New Vegas for sure. I think Fallout 3 is probably the weakest Fallout game I've played. Yeah, I'd say Fallout 3 is probably the weakest one. I respect that. Not trying to be meta. Yeah, no worries. But yeah, welcome in. All right, so we were talking to this trader and inspecting an axe. When you take a swing, it takes hardly any effort. The leather straps holding the pieces together are just a decoration, and the handle is as smooth as glass and perfectly fits into your hand. The man chuckles.
No,
oh, thank you so much for the follow. Glitching Rex, thank you. Welcome to the mechanics. Yeah, I'm typically I do racing motorsports oriented content, but really in reality I'm a variety streamer. But my my model is racing themed, and I do iRacing, sim racing once a week, typically on Thursday nights. Friday nights I'll do DDR, so I've been doing a lot of Dance Dance Revolution lately. But over the Christmas season, I've had a lot of vacation time, so I've just been playing kind of whatever I want, what's been on sale. We were playing SnowRunner the other day. What else were we doing? Caves of Cud. I've been really addicted to Caves of Cud recently, which is a roguelike that was in development for over, I don't know, 15 years or something, that just went 1.0. So we've been playing a lot of Caves of Cud, especially late at night. So I've been doing late night cock streams, and those have been a lot of fun for my my mechanics and fans of the game. The Catboys long for the caves. They do. We do long for the caves. They're very addicting. We like to delve into the caves and I don't know, enjoy the pleasures of the caves of conscience. All right, so I don't know where I'm going with that. The handle is as smooth as glass and perfectly fits into your hand. The man chuckles. You like it? Now I doubt you can afford it, but do not worry. That's nail I have. Sorry, what did you just say? Late night. What streams? Cock. C-O-K. Caves of Cud. Late night cock, right? They're good streams. Yeah. I look at the rest of his stuff. His long fingers tap against the parchment windows of the lantern. Its frame is cheap, made of oak. 'Tis glued and 'tis quiet, he says while shaking it in the air. N'as fancy as the iron ones with oil, but you can carry it in the caves without luring all the corpse eaters and goblins. Perfect for a traveler, just take a look. Had me worried there for a second? Oh, don't be worried. No worries. Inside the lantern, you find a place for a candle. Not a great match for people living in the wooden houses. Hide and glue are nae easy to make, but I will nae ask for more than 4 rings. The last sack is as wide as a saddle and 3 hands tall. It contains a whole bunch of undyed linen sheets. We usually keep them for traders, but we could use a few dragon rings, and who knows if there's ever going to be a next caravan. He gives you a long look. Interested? Depends on what you want for it. Oh, I can't afford any of this shit. I only have 3 coins. We're looking for Asterion, the other Roadwarden. What can you tell me about him? That Eva, though he was here more than once, he did nae leave much behind, smelly hoarder. He looks around, then spits on the ground. At least he bought a blade for me. Wow, they fucking hate this guy. Do you remember what blade it was? Sure, 'twas a special one. A sickle sword with a tip wider than 'twas at the grip. Long as from fingertips to shoulder, nae a sword, nae a knife. Single-edged, bought his own steel to melt for it. So are you an adventurer or like a king building his country? So we're what's called a Roadwarden. So if you're familiar with like the Witcher series, it's kind of like a Witcher. They're protectors of people. They go on quests and missions for merchant guilds and kingdoms and things like that. So right now we're exploring this like kind of semi-wild peninsula that the merchant guild of the local kingdom is trying to like more or less take over. So they're trying to establish trade routes and, you know, push their influence on this land. And it's our duty as a road warden to go in there and talk to the people of the villages and the taverns and things like that and just figure out kind of what's going on within 40 days. And at the end of 40 days, we report back and tell them, like, you know, who's willing to trade, like what's going on in there. We also have a personal mission, which you can decide when you make your character. And our personal mission is to make enough money to get our sibling out of debt, because right now they're heavily in debt and under threat. Are you well liked in this world? Witcher don't have the best rep. I think it's on a case-by-case basis, because we're sort of the replacement for a road warden that was here originally, and it sounds like that road warden fucked everything up. So it sounds like the villages are like, we're not too keen on another road warden showing up, but if you want to do some work for us, maybe we'll trust you. So it seems like a very like neutral, hesitant kind of attitude towards the road wardens. What's it good for? Fencing. More for cutting bushes, creepers, roots. It will nae fell a tree, but 'tis a fine tool. He nods to a passerby, but his smile disappears as quickly as it had shown up. Pathfinders use it. Ma Pa used to have one as well. He chopped nuts with it. Nuts and mouflons. So he took it to the wilderness. As long as we profit, we don't mind. Yeah, exactly. He shrugs. Pretty much anywhere. There are hills from here to the coast and bogs to the north and the heart of the woods. Can nae help you with it? Do you need any help? I could use a job. We do. We need some jobs. We've done a lot of talking, but we need to do some work. Know what? There's something urgent. I need a medicament for my daughter, or medicament? Yeah, medicament for my daughter. Nay, that she's hurt or anything. He raises his open palms as if to show that he's not holding a knife. She's a teen, wants to start hunting in the woods. I can nae teach her much, but I'd sleep better with her having a healing potion. You have. He hesitates. Almost 9 days. Bring me the potion before the last dusk, and I'll pay you 5 dragon rings. Where do I find such a potion? I can think of 2 places. The safer bet is beyond Old Pagos on the mountain of the crazy monks. Crazy and boring, more boring than a mouflon, but they often brew with Numa. You can also head south, east of the crossroads, behind Pelt to the north. I've nae seen there myself, but you'll find a dolmen there as old as a city, and this. He reaches for his clinking pouch and pulls out a massive iron key. Is meant to open some secret passage there. Ooh. East of the crossroads. Okay. She didn't want to take the stall after you. A strong elixir would be more than 5 coins. How do you know about that secret? Elixir would be more than 5 coins. Well now, 'tis all I can pay. He spreads his arms. I do not sculpt you, stupid. The dragons I get here belong to the village. 5 is fair pay, and I'll even mention to all neighbors how helpful you are. Ooh. We like the endorsement. He takes a deep breath and adjusts his robe, still sweating. How do you know about that secret? From a merchant. She's from south of Hag Hills. I was meant to pass the key to her friend, but he never showed up. And you've just been keeping this key at your side ever since? I kept it with my trinkets and coins, that's all. We were planning to go there for years, but 'tis one of the things that you talk about, nay do it. His brief laughter turns into a cough. She didn't want to take to the stall after you? Nay, but that's fine. She hates me. 'Tis better for her to take after her mother. Your daughter hates you? We're really pushing here. Really pushing. His low voice sounds like grunting. Since you have to know, our laws make me admit I was a wife beater, and by my own deeds, I've lost my family. Well, fuck you, buddy. Good. My daughter has a new father now, and I'm not allowed to marry again. As he starts to speak faster, he also wags his finger at you. But I never touch my girl. Keeping her safe is the right thing to do, even if it does make things right. All right. What a dickhead. We don't want to help a wife beater. We're going to take that shit for ourselves. Okay, let's go look for that potion. There's like, we could be here like talking forever. He's still shit even if he didn't hit his dart. Yeah, exactly. He's a fucking asshole. Maybe we'll just like go take the thing and keep it, whatever it is, the potion. Fuck that. Let's travel. So he said it was behind the Pelt of the North. I think he said. It's getting late. Better look for a safe place to sleep. Yeah. The guard ignores your arrival as you ride in. The other hunters training with wooden swords and blunt axes in the courtyard. At this hour, the armorer's workshop is closed. I guess we need to go to sleep before we go check out the hidden thing. The open windows fill the hall with refreshing air and the sounds of conversation. The innkeeper staying behind the counter, preparing a set of mugs. Something bothering you. Let's stay here. Sleeping on a bench or sleeping in a room? Your blanket won't be much of a bed. The staff will keep opening the nearby door, walking around or talking with one another. Sleeping here will be rather uncomfortable. A comfy bed with a clean blanket in an isolated chamber. You will also get a large breakfast to wash up with water and soap and some cloves to wash your teeth. That sounds amazing. We have 3 coins, but it's worth it. We need a bath. I don't want to be stinky. You hear a thunderous roar. You rise to your feet and rub the sleep from your eyes. The doors are opening. People are shouting orders and words of warning. As you open the window, you see what's behind the commotion. Something is on the other side of the wall. Trying to get through, the guards are fighting it off with their torches, spears, and crossbows. Thanks to their light, you see the large furry paws placed on top of the wall walk. As far as you can tell, the beast is but a single leap away from getting inside. I need to help them. You look for your gambeson and blade, but still a bit foggy in your thoughts. And once you find them, you struggle to get inside the jacket. As your habits kick in, you see the innkeeper right in front of you, holding a candle. You're a guest. Stay here, he says without a shadow of hesitation. My team has no time to worry about outsiders. Just after his words, you hear cheerful laughter from the wall. Judging by the way they point their fingers and lower their weapons, the beast is fleeing. Well, I shouldn't expect people will need my help all the time. If I'd been there, maybe we could have caught it. All right. Yeah, they don't need me all the time. They're good. We're safe. The small room is quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. You take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window, enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning, you find a stool with a large wooden plate bearing an aromatic breakfast Fried breaded mushrooms with gravy and chamomile tisane. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood into the stove. He asks if you need anything. No. Do I have anything he can buy? You pull out some items, but the innkeeper shakes his head. I don't need those, nor could I sell them to anyone. I'd rather make coins than waste them, so bring me something of value. Okay. We're gonna leave. We're in good shape. We're gonna leave. Where was the secret thing? Who did we talk to? Akakios. He said the quest was gather the wealth. Swamp Altar, Sporvhauer's Dell. Merchant's Medicament. Okay, here it is. Look for the potion in the secret chamber of a dolmen somewhere on the southern road. The merchant gave me a key to it. Maybe I could buy a flask or two for the monks near little Plagos. I thought he said it was behind, like, this thing here. Behind the inn. Or is it like the room? Well, Pelt to the north. Shoot, what does the archive say? Let's go to the archive. You can also head south east of the crossroads behind Pelt to the north. Oh, east, so back where we started. Oh, we got an ad break. Ad break. We're gonna keep playing through. I'm probably gonna call it soon, but I want like more interesting things to happen before we call it. So maybe we'll just do a quick save and we'll go east. Can we do a quick load? Okay. Travel. And before we go there, we should check on our fish. Because our fish trap should have caught something by now. Let's see if the fish trap had any luck. Unfortunately, it's still empty. Okay, fuck the fish. The curvy road east is overgrown. Karis trots when it has a chance, but more often it walks, forced to jump over larger branches, blocking the path. The nearby lake is surrounded by thirsty wildlife. I observe the dark forest, ready to react if something jumps at me. Ooh, is this what we're looking for? A couple of stone slabs were turned into a hut-like shape, one of the ancient chapels raised by the priests of the United Church in the days of few soldiers and even fewer shelters. The dolmens proved to be especially durable, though the conditions they offered were harsh. The entrance is barely wide enough to let you walk inside. It was meant to keep larger beasts away, including your palfrey. You can't spend the night here. You dismount and look around. I approach the hourglass carved into stone. It's the most common religious sign of the city folk, adapted by the United Church, Orders of Truth, and the majority of fellowships. It's used in temples and during the funeral rites, but also to decorate codices or jewelry. The winged hourglasses portray the ephemerality of life and the rigidity of time. When possible, they're made of steel, signifying the strength of humankind's determination and innovation. In the old days, it was a place of faith. I should touch the hourglass and pray. Yeah. The stone welcomes your palm, open palm coldly. The hourglass doesn't start to shine. The birds don't cease their singing. There's no incense inviting you into the chapel. Yet once you close your eyes, gather your thoughts, and rub the sacred sign with your fingers, your soul is focused and tranquil as if awakened after a long rest. In your silent prayer, nature seems both distant and familiar. It doesn't shape itself around your thoughts, but you feel like nothing is going to hurt you, not while you're here. So be it, you say at the end of your prayer, as your ancestors have taught you. The birds are singing delightfully. After my prayer, I step away. Karis is playfully poking the nearby bushes with its nose, ready for the further journey. I enter the chapel. The beams of light get through the gaps between the rocks, but you can hardly see anything. A torch would fill the place with smoke, but a candle will suffice. You wonder how many travelers have sat on the cold rock, observing the entrance and fighting with their heavy eyelids. I light up a candle. You unpack the tinderbox from your saddles, then place the flint and linen char cloth on the narrow slab sticking out to the right of the entrance. Decades ago, before the southern invasion, people used to fire strikers made of thick steel, but all you have left is a cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. It's not the best, but enough to make a couple of sparks. Sorry, I had a cough there. Sadly, the weak light is hardly enough to let you examine the chamber. I look around. The candlelight light may be weak, but I'm patient. I look for clues carefully. You touch your surroundings, bringing the candle closer whenever something catches your attention. Even though a part of the ground is covered with a single massive slab, there are sections free of any flooring. You see soil, small rocks, and sand. In one spot, you find the remains of charred wood. Also, you notice sticky soot on the walls. Parts of it cover black marks and pictures, possibly letters. Look around. What are you looking for or paying attention to? Glyphs. Words. Carvings. Objects? Walls. They are all around you. Paintings. I mean, because I can see, like, this on the wall here. Markings? A large part of the wall is covered with engravings. It's difficult to figure out what they are meant to portray, but one picture is obvious to you, a long arrow pointing down. Parts of the writing as well as the nearby wall is covered with soot. Oh, is something buried here? Buried. Ground. Even though a large part of the ground is covered by a single massive slab, there are sections free of any flooring. Hole? You try to make a hole somewhere in the ground, but with no luck. Okay, dig. You look at the ground. You could grab your knife some light and dig through a few inches of soil and sand, step by step, finding probably just rocks, but you doubt it's going to go smoothly. I could examine one spot in particular, or at least look for a specific object. Okay, arrow. Yes. Dig under arrow. Dig, arrow, dig. Okay, let's get to it. You start where you stand, pushing aside the layers of dirt and disturbing a few colonies of worms, and the most interesting area turns out to be hidden beneath the remains of an old campfire. You move all the ash and pieces of wood until you find a well-preserved plank. You dig around, finding a solid trap door locked with a steel padlock. Look, this is it. This is what we're looking for. I open the trapdoor with a key. You insert the key, and after a bit of wiggling, something clicks. The padlock is cold, dirty, and rusty, but you easily get to the iron latch, which moves away smoothly. You have no problem unlocking the trapdoor. Let's look inside. You lift the hatch, and the heavy, humid air suggests an abandoned farm cellar. Your candle allows you to estimate that the tunnel is roughly 15 feet deep, but there's no ladder that you can use. You think about lowering the rope, but you realize that one of the brick walls is covered with large holes meant to be used as a sort of vertical stairs. You hear no sound coming from the tunnel, but the moldy walls and old cobwebs are not very welcoming. I mean, we gotta go down. That's what we came here for. You have to move slowly, learning the new route. You hug the cold, moist wall, seeking the support for your boots. It doesn't take long before you feel comfortable enough to jump down, then light up another candle. Both the walls and the floor are made of stone slabs. You see no movement, no other sources of light. The short tunnel leads you to a small room. I walk inside. The room smells of rotten wood and fungi. Abandoned junk is scattered on the ground in shelves, earthenware jars, rotting scraps of linen or leather, wooden plates, bones for carving, and rusty iron tools. While these odds and ends may be years or decades old, the basement could be just as ancient as the main floor of the chapel. The one thing that seems to be uniquely fresh and durable is a small wooden box held together by a few fiber cords. I'm gonna take the box. It doesn't feel empty, but it's light. You shake it for a bit, trying to guess what's inside. You can't open the box without cutting the cords. Yeah. Cut the cords. The box turns out to be filled with rags, covering a fragile bottle. It's small and closed with a tall wax seal inside of which you see a thin stick. It should be easy to instantly open it if needed. You can't look inside, and if you open it, you may not be able to seal it again. Nevertheless, you recognize a magical potion when you see one, probably the one that you were meant to find for Akakios, the merchant. I open the bottle and drink from it. No. I attach it to my belt. It may be useful later on. I prepare to leave. Wow, we found it. Awesome. Hell yeah. Let's go. Travel time. Where are we going now? Hold on. Let's look at our quests. We're going to save here. Actually, let's do like a full save. There we go. Journal. Quests. Explore the peninsula. Gather wealth. Find the Roadwarden. I really want to find the Roadwarden. That's like our main thing here. Eastern Path. Gloucester's Band. Merchants. Yeah, we got that one. Ruined Village. I feel like we're going to find more work by going back to Howler's Dell and talking to more people there. So let's be on our way. Oh, there's a southern route here below the Beholder. Let's go check that out. The shapes of mountains are cutting through the horizon. The water gets gradually less muddy. The cleaner it gets, the more animals you see. A family of deer blocks the road, resting and enjoying the cold water, which would be deadly for a human stomach. It's still water. It's still water. You consider riding around them through the sparse meadow, but your presence also causes them disquiet. Without much haste, they regroup and run east into the leafy forest. I travel forward. Oh, what do we got here? You've reached Hag Hills, the wall of stones that has blocked the city's grasp. The one well-established route through them leads through the valley where you can find Tulia's camp. There are no maps of the highlands nor local tribes, only stories. The beaten path leads you by the garden beds of herbs and vegetables to an old yet not abandoned mine, hidden behind a massive door made of steel. I look around. There's no hitching rail for a mount. A bearded, skinny elder sits still on a bench, observing you like a sculpture, with his legs crossed and fingers interlocked on his abdomen. What's the nice greeting? Good day to you. Don't worry about my horse. I'll keep it away from your garden. Look around. I think something has swallowed your wall, old man. Better move your veggies inside. That's fucking mean. I get off my horse respectfully. Without a word, I observe him from the saddle. I'm seeking your guidance, old man. I get off my horse respectfully. You dismount and keep an eye on Karis. You greet the man, and as he nods back to you, you mention that you have a few questions. There's cold civility in the air, as if you're sharing a table at an inn. I need you to look at me whilst you speak. His strict voice reminds you of a master of craft guild, though his thick accent distorts his image. I can nae hear without magic, but I'll read your lips. I've nae wish to talk about your daily struggles, traveler. It's nae a refuge for strangers. Say what you're looking for, and let our paths split. He doesn't yell, but his voice is not used to being opposed. His face is wrinkled, but he sits straight, with beard and hair still carrying glimpses of fair blonde. He's tanned like a worker, and his eyes are blue and piercing, as if they belong to an infant. I explain who I am. What do you call him? Example, old man. How about sir? He stares off across the garden beds, forcing you to wait in silence. The elder is tall, with long hair and a beard that was let loose a long time ago. His sandals are covered in dust, and you spot dirt on his clothes and skin. The woolen tunic and linen were made with care, decorated with colorful threads at the collar and sleeves. Now all the blues and greens have faded, and the fabric is held together by patches and stitches. His hands are still folded. His voice remains firm. You do know our customs. Your name, your trade, your calling mean naething to the forest. I do know what you expected to find here, but this is nae a place for strangers. I wait for him to look at me. I do my best not to smirk. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I wait for him to look at me. The man stands up and approaches your palfrey without touching it. He observes its eyes, mane, stomach, and rear. Karis ignores his examination. My nose was right then. Asterion is dead, as are his plans. Such is the fate of all dreamers. How does he know Asterion's dead? He turns toward you with a grim look. Are you going to look for him? You nod. Why? If he's vanished into the fogs, there's nae point in putting yourself in danger. What do you expect to find? Ooh. It's a job. There's a reward for finding him. He may need my help. I need to know what kind of danger he encountered. If he's dead, I want people to know about it. Something tried to make him disappear. They deserve to face justice, or is there's no reason why you need to know that? I need to know what kind of danger he encountered. He is observing you carefully. Do you plan to get rid of this danger? Or maybe learn from Asterion's mistakes? Or are you still thinking about leaving this land for good? He starts to chuckle. Only the right questions will bring you the answers. With lively steps, he heads toward the spring. He watches his hands once again, forcing you to wait. Old people need time to gather their thoughts. He tries to dictate the pace of the conversation and put me in my place. Yeah. His voice is cold and confident, so what do you need? Oh my god, it's a huge tree here. Have you met Asterion? He wanders among the garden beds from time to time, touching the leaves at his hand. He was here more than once. He was nay one to stand aside and let events play out by themselves. The villagers from the north are sometimes in need of my assistance, and Asterion was serving them as a messenger. He bends down and tears away a small, flowerless plant. He wanted to settle down among these roads, maybe to live freely. He had great plans and wanted to make this realm flourish, to rebuild the ruins, get rid of the brigands, and clear the trade route. I told him the forest needs nay more people, and that this realm is too wild to feed and clothe everyone. His greed and dreams have eaten him, and now he wants nay more. He pauses, and you can hear his heavy breathing as if he's getting tired. He straightens up, and that's that, traveler. If you want to look for his shell, travel north, far north. People there should know where he is. I'll do that. Whew. Man, there's a lot of reading in this game. I mean, it's a visual novel, right? I didn't know what I was like really getting into. This is cool. I like the world, the lore building. There's a lot of good dialogue. I'm interested to go further. I don't know if it's a really good stream game, though. I don't know if I have the right kind of crowd that's like here to listen to me read for 4 hours or something, but I think I'm going to call it here. We'll give it a full save just to make sure. I'm going to call it here. Mechanics, those who rated in, lurkers, everyone, thank you so much for coming by my stream today. I'm going to raid on over to someone who's on right now. I will probably put up a schedule for this week, even though I'm still on vacation.
Oh, no, my shoes!
Oh, Pyrone and Kiwano, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Mechanics. Hello. Yeah, what's today? It's Sunday? Yeah, I'm still on vacation through New Year's. So Monday, tomorrow, I don't have any plans. Tuesday is New Year's Eve. I might stream during the afternoon, but I'm going to a big New Year's party in the evening. And then Wednesday is New Year's Day, so I'll probably either be recovering from New Year's Eve or we'll do like a long afternoon stream again, like Death Stranding or something. Because I want to play more Death Stranding, and I want to play more cock. I want to play more CUD. I was playing so much CUD last night by myself, and I was like, boy, I wish I was streaming this. This is so much fun. Been nice listening to you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I've had a lot of people tell me that like my voice is very soothing. I've had people tell me that they fall asleep listening to my stream, so I'm really happy for that, because like, I don't know, I think for a long time I didn't like my voice, and then I just kind of got used to it, and I'm just like, it's, you know, it's just my voice, it's nothing special. But then people are like, oh no, you sound good. You sound good. I like how you sound. So I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. I can imagine that for sure. Very pleasant. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. All right, we're gonna call it. We're going to raid out. Let's go. Bodega Rat's streaming. Lith is streaming. Lulu's streaming. Let's go raid Bodega Rat. All right, everybody. Have a great evening. I might be back later tonight. We'll see. I'll post about it on Blue Sky. Take care, everybody. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.